welcome to Master Powercast. Welcome our esteemed guest, our dear friend, Mr. Serial Geek TV himself, James Etalk. Thank you for
Hello,
joining
gentlemen.
us tonight.
Hello. Let's shake hands.
Yeah.
Wait. Look at this.
No,
Here we go.
No.
It just looks very wrong now.
Well, there that is. I hope everyone at home is just as excited as James is about this Wave 4 vintage cardback tier list. Now, we've talked cardbacks before, and we've done a ranking years and years ago, but we didn't have the visual presentation quite like we do these days. So it's going to be a tier list. And not only that, let's just go ahead and let's just dive right into this whole thing. Let me go ahead and present it here. So
I will be honest, I don't know what's on this list apart from the odd one here and there, but it's like I didn't do my research, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise at the same time.
That works out better, I think.
Yeah. And much like the last time Tyler and I did a tier list, the averages are gone. There are three of us here tonight. Each of us get our own column. So all of you at home.
This is my column here, right here. My column is down here.
That is your house, James, right there. And what we're gonna do is masterpiece, great, decent, meh, and of course, if it's really terrible,
it stinks.
So those are the categories. Wave 4, James, off the top of your head, can you name all of the single carded figures in Wave 4? Go.
Can you give me the Hordak?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so right. Hordak, Leech, Grizzle, Mantenna, Moduloc, right?
Yep.
If I say I'm going to Mossman.
Yep.
Okay, Roboto, Cyclone, Too Bad, Spycore.
Okay.
Thunder Punch, He-Man, Dragon Blaster, Skeletor.
Yep.
I'm picturing the cardback, the actual with all the cross-sell art. Are we doing vehicles or just the?
No, just those.
You're missing one character.
Mossman, Roboto, Cyclone. Mossman, Spycore, Too Bad.
Yeah, I think I know.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Man.
Who was? Oh, we'll get into that. So yeah, so I do know the wave pretty well.
Yeah,
I think it's the best wave in my opinion. Like of all the waves, I think it's the top tier with. Introduction of the Horde, great evil warriors, great heroic warriors, good vehicles.
I still remember walking into the toy store and, I'd seen the odd image here and there of like forthcoming toys, but walking in and seeing all the new products, which was like Spycore, Too Bad, Roboto. So Spycore was the first one I bought. So I was just like, I thought he was the coolest villain. And I remember like immediately it was during like the summer holidays, and I took him back, the Spycore figure, and I had my Snake Mountain playset, and I had him arrive at Snake Mountain. This was the scenario I played with my figures, and for some reason, Tyler, the muscle man, will appreciate this, because if you look at Spycore's arms, he's got so much definition, more than the average traditional arms of like He-Man and Skeletor and all that. Spycore's arms are huge, and so I had Spiker as like the strongest guy, and he was just beating up all the evil warriors. But then him and Triclops, because I love Triclops, and seeing in Diamond Rare Disappearance, where Triclops proves to be somewhat of a physical match.
See, James gets that.
It's almost like I've seen the cartoon.
Yes.
So I just had like Spycore and Too Bad finishing one another off at the end, and Spycore won because obviously he's the new guy. And Skeletor's like, you're in. It's like
you're hired.
Yeah, it's like he's defeated everyone. He should have been in after like beating up the first three. But I just thought Spycore was awesome. I love the mini comic as well. That wave though, I can still remember getting each of those figures. Thunder Punch He-Man as well. Oh, God, what a gimmick! What a figure! That mini comic was it Treachery of Moduloc?
Moduloc, yeah.
I know it's like the story you told when you did your mini comics revision for the Horde is like infinitely better. Well, obviously in a different time frame, aren't we? Like in retrospect, looking back, but I still love that Moduloc mini comic because it's so colourful. And Larry, and it's very Larry Houston as well. Lots of small panels, but like finely illustrated and stuff. Lots of action. So I guess I've covered a bit of the wave there, and not the cards.
It's definitely a mixed bag of shitty mini comics and good mini comics in that wave.
Yeah. The Mike Sikowski Leacher mini comics, obviously.
I'm gonna go at random with these.
Okay.
So there's no particular order, and we will. Let's see. Where do I want to start off with? Well, James, you know what? You are the guest for the evening. I'll let you make the one and only pick for this.
Oh, so I've got to choose, have I?
Yeah. Which one would you like to go with first?
Let's start off with Spycore.
All right.
Because I can hit you up with an interesting fact I know about the card art for this. I remember people talking about 20 years ago. I think Val Staples may have brought it up himself.
There we go.
So this card, and I think Stinkor, maybe Mossman, but this card was illustrated by the creator of the Rocketeer, Dave Stevens.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he illustrated this one and Stinkor. I feel like Mossman as well, but I don't know for a fact. But I remember because I remember seeing the original art for this for sale somewhere, and it was like, oddly, it had the illustration at the top, and then for some reason someone had pasted. It was the original art, but someone had pasted like the Masters Universe logo where the cross cell pieces would be. I was like, wow, and it said like signed Dave Stevens, and I think Val was like, it's the guy who created the Rocketeer, and I was like, oh bloody hell, wow, that's quite the crossover. But
that's some amazing trivia, man. I had no idea.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, a good one to start with. But yeah, I mean, in terms of this one, I always think the Spycore just looks so good. You have to be a real like dodgy artist to not make him look cool. Because I know there's a lot going on with him, and also like this, the layout of this illustration almost looks very Errol McCarthy like in terms of positioning. But I just think whilst I will always favour Errol McCarthy's artwork over every other artist on the cardbacks, especially his first, illustrations for the line like He-Man, Man at Arms, where he had that different style.
Those are beautiful.
Those are beautiful. And then he refined the style when it came to Battle Armor, He-Man and Skeletor and all that. But yeah, there's something about Dave Stevens' art it looks like really bold. It's less fantasy and obviously more comic book art because he was a comic book artist. So I think I wouldn't say it was his masterpiece, but I'd say it's great.
Okay, so we got a great for James.
Yeah, I want to say great also. Like, I feel like He-Man's pose is more like just drawing the actual figure as opposed to giving his own dynamic pose. Whereas Spycore, it could be argued it's drawing the figure, but I don't know. He looks so damn good, pretty much just using the figure. Like just that threatening pose of him turning to the side and extending the trident out. Because I think about what Errol McCarthy did with the line art for Spycore. Like he's got like this kind of big fat like puffer fish body.
Yeah, he's going from that's exactly what it is, isn't it? Very weird.
It's not good. So it's good to see Spycore like drawn correctly like that. And I don't see too much Spycore like fan art that thrills me that much in general. I had Kevin Sharp draw Spycore for me on a piece of art years ago, and he did an excellent job on that. But I'm gonna say great as well, just because Spycore looks so menacing in this.
So good.
It's going to be 3 greats in a row. I think the only thing that keeps it from being a masterpiece is, much like Tyler said, the way that He-Man is drawn here. I don't think I would have used He-Man as the corner piece of the one being threatened. I would have picked another character a little bit lower on the totem pole, I think.
Yeah, I was never a fan of seeing the toy bit of the sword, to stop the sword falling out of his hand. It's like on the hilt, but it's the little bit that goes round his wrist.
Yeah,
his fingers. It's I get why it's there, but yeah, it makes it look a bit too much like the toy.
Yeah.
So there we go. A Spycore, all 3 in great. We're agreeing so far. I assume there's probably going to be some differences along the way. Let's see. Who I want to go with? Let's. Now I gotta do that. There we go. Dragon Blaster Skeletor.
Who's gonna?
Skeletor looks exceptionally good here. Like
much like Spycore. Yeah.
the detail around his face, the dragon, like the scales on the dragon, the light, kind of I guess like the sunlight shining on the back of him. Fisto and Man at Arms look, they lack a little bit. I feel like I wish Fisto's pose would be a little bit more.
Fisto's pose looks very kind of like very static.
It's like in the toy commercial when someone gets hit with Cobra Con spray and they just kind of fall backwards. I wish it was more of like he's kind of falling to his knees, like he's struggling to stay up. But
I do like the fact. I was going to say I do like the fact that with the dragon, Errol's done what like a lot of the artists, not everyone, but like a lot of the artists did, which was make it look like a kind of a real dragon kind of thing. I think the only thing about the dragon that lets it down is the coloring, because the toy has that awesome purple and red color scheme, if I remember rightly. And there, it's just kind of just red. It looks a bit bland color wise, but yeah, I think the left hand side of this illustration is really good. The right hand side is just kind of where it falls down slightly for me.
Yeah, but Skeletor looks so threatening and menacing. Like his arms look fantastic. The chain locked on his left arm, like he just looks so formidable. I think because I like Skeletor so much, I'm gonna say great on this one too. It's not masterpiece because the other two just.
Yeah, Tyler, I'm gonna go decent. I'm not gonna go great. I think you guys have pointed out perfectly. The right side of this piece really bogs it down. Skeletor looks fantastic. The dragon looks fantastic, but I don't think it. They could have done more with it.
It's not as dynamic as I feel like it should be, especially when you've got two prominent characters like that. I really feel like I don't know. I just feel like Man at Arms should be either running towards the battle, or it's just kind of a weak pose for him too.
The funny thing is, if you look at that illustration, the way Skeletor and the dragon are positioned, they're too far in front of where the guys are being attacked.
Yeah.
So that the spray is almost. It looks like it's almost like it's going 3/4 of the way back, as opposed. It looks like it should be going across the way it's positioned.
Yeah.
It's almost like the illustration was done on the left-hand side. They were like, right, we need to do something for the right-hand side. I will say it's decent, only because I know what Errol McCarthy has done in the past and what he continues to do in the Cardbacks. So it's like, there's the left-hand side, I think, is like masterpiece. Right-hand side, meh. So it's a decent.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I could have imagined maybe you have Skeletor with the dragon blasting out like forward towards the card, and then you see the backs of like some heroic warriors that are just kind of taken aback by what the dragon is spraying out at them.
What Nathan just said that made me think of this is that this would have worked better is if the dragon is spraying its venomous mist in Fisto's face and Skeletor is clashing with Man at Arms.
Yeah.
Preventing Fisto from coming to help Man at Arms out. The dragon is not putting him out, while Man at Arms has to fend for himself against Skeletor with his mace. Like, put him more in a more dynamic pose, make him more engaged in this to show that Skeletor can take on two heroic warriors at the same time, and it's not a problem for him. Get that toy version over.
Have you guys ever thought about just how backbreaking that's got to be for Skeletor to have a dragon of that size, even as small as it is, attached to his back like that?
And have it chained to him as well.
Yeah. You didn't oh my goodness. So on my YouTube channel, I've already written the script and got the scans ready for a video about Dragon Blaster Skeletor in the German comics. It's one of the best things ever because for some reason, like the German artists were like, well, we could have him with a little dragon, or we'll give him like a full-size monstrous dragon that he's chained to, but he's not on his back. And it's hilarious how big this dragon is. It's like the size of like Colossal kind of thing.
God.
And Skeletor's chained to it. It's like, are you in control of the dragon? And then the final panel is the dragon chasing Skeletor and him running away for his life. It's a very bizarre interpretation, but yeah, that I always like this little dragon version and the toy of Dragon Blaster Skeletor. I don't know why. There was something. I think it was like my favorite of the variants of Skeletor, even though I love Laserlight. Dragon Blaster. There was just again. I think it was the purple and the red. The introduction of the red to his color scheme.
It's very very popping. It
pops.
Yeah, it adds extra level of flair to the character's color scheme. It really.
I still got to go battle armor for Skeletor.
I'm probably gonna say Battle Armor too. Just I have such a tight connection to that particular variant because I'd only see Dragon Blaster like in picture. I never knew anybody who had the toy. I never saw it in the wild or anything like that. Yeah.
Oh.
And I wouldn't aware of Terraclaw Skeletor until like the early '90s.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I just saw him at someone's house. Like, what the fuck is that? And of course he's like, of course he wasn't interested. It was just like a toy he had and didn't care. So
look at that. Nathan's got a little news ticker at the bottom down there. Look at this.
Yeah. I got to plug all the channels for everyone.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Breaking news. James Eatock died. You're like, wait, what?
He's right here. I didn't even know he was sick.
Oh dear. Okay, who's next?
Up next, we will go with a Modulok.
Masterpiece.
I still remember seeing this for the first time. My dad coming home from work and picking up, like, surprisingly with the Modulok toy. So, it was so unlike any other. It was like in a box. I remember just look at this illustration. I was like, wow, to see all those Evil Warriors and Jitsu is such a favorite of mine. Spike's obviously got a slightly weird color scheme, but it was just, this illustration just perfectly summed up what this figure was. It did what it's supposed to do. Your imagination just goes, because you're like, oh my God, I can do so much with this figure. And that illustration, you've got Whiplash, Too Bad. It's like a coming together all these, different ways. It's, a masterpiece, absolutely.
Yeah, and you don't have a heroic warrior in sight on this.
No.
It ups the ante of that even.
That was what was so cool going forward once the Horde introduced.
Yeah.
They would have villains clash with each other to help sell the card art. Like, that was a genius idea that you don't have to have heroes fighting these guys. You can have other bad guys fighting each other because you may realize, hey, I'm siding with the Horde, or I'm siding with Skeletor's guys. Man, this is bullshit, But and to me, like, when I first saw this too, because I can't remember when I first saw the box art, but it was seeing 4 of the best Evil Warriors taking on Modulok at the same time. Like, that's if that doesn't get over a character and make you want to buy him. I mean, I really wish I had seen this. And again, this was another character I never saw in person.
Oh, wow.
All I ever knew of Modulok was he was on the back of the Hordak mini comic, like the cross-sell artwork that was available of like the original Horde members. I never saw him in the cartoon until like 5th grade. I never knew anyone who had him. Never knew anyone who had ever heard of him. So
one thing I love about this, and I've only just noticed another thing. One is the colouring of this, I just thought was beautiful.
Yeah.
Another thing I've only just noticed is, obviously, it's not like I spent hours looking at this, but if you look at the areas where Modulok is, they've painted the ground like yellowish with the glow. It's like that's such a cool effect. It's like where he's present is like an ethereal glow to his transformations.
Yeah.
But what makes this card, I think, even cooler and ascends it to masterpiece even more is when I got, Multibot, and they basically paid homage to this
again.
It was such a good idea. It's like, well, it worked for Modulok, let's do it for Multibot as well. And it was such a good idea to do a kind of repurposing with Multibot. I thought it was like fantastic.
And different Evil Warriors too. I think
different Evil Warriors
on that one as well, but it was
think
still
so,
like
yeah.
They did a really good job on just not only this, but just the box as a whole to show you all the multiple combinations you can make. I mean, if you look here, you could take a few pieces and almost replicate it to a degree, but it's just fun to have that figure, and you can have multiple versions sort of Modulok fighting whoever it may be. So yeah, it's really creative that they went.
When I look back, I think like Modulok was one of my favorite purchases, because I still remember it was like a winter's evening. My dad comes home, brings the Modulok. You got this cool box that's so different. You open the box, you got all these figure parts that are just like, oh my goodness. You got a cool mini comic. You got like the black and white instructions for how to use the figure. It was like Modulok came with so much stuff that as a kid you're just like, this is brilliant. What a figure.
I just that's what I love about this wave, is it was just such a high mark for the wave.
Yeah.
And it sucks because it did so well that they put in all that brand new tooling into the next wave of 86, and that just starts tanking after that. It just astonishes me. This is what pushed Mattel to invest so much more into the wave, and that would eventually like lead to the gradual downfall. But it's understandable why this wave was the highest grossing year for Masters of the Universe by far. I mean, they were kicking ass all over.
Well,
the
I mean,
place.
like it's one thing that I think people forget these days about what Masters of the Universe figures are supposed to be, gimmick based. That's the thing. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. You can have your He-Mans and your Fakers and your Tealers and like their function, that initial wave basic features. But when you get to like the second wave, Manny Faces Ram Man, and then you get the, like Fistos and Jitsus and Whiplashes and Clawfuls and these guys. It's like this wave, all these wonderful gimmicks, and even like. Be honest, into one of the best gimmicks, Mosquito, came at the very end. It's the laser light figures, laser light Skeleton, laser power He-Man. It's those gimmicks were just wonderful.
Masterpiece. I fucking love this one.
A lot of vibrant colors going on. Lots of greens and yellows. A little bit of red, not much, but
yeah.
Well, why is this a masterpiece?
Yeah, go on.
I'm a Mossman fanatic, and of course Triclops is the best of the original Fab Five, and I love how Mossman is drawn. He looks very formidable, and even though clearly it's not him completely blending into the picture of the surrounding plant life around him, but it's almost like you could take it like he's emerging from the plants to finally confront Triclops. But I just think it's an interesting idea that Triclops, who sees everything, probably obviously could not see Mossman, and then just see him emerge from the forest to do battle with his mace against Triclops' broadsword. I'm like, that's a story I want to see take place. Like, this is such an interesting battle.
I never noticed the wording where it's like they don't mention Triclops by name. It's just he fools and frustrates the wicked foe. It's Triclops, man. Give him a shout out. But that is. So it's a masterpiece for you. I don't think it is for me. I think I like Mossman. It's almost like the Dragon Blaster Skeletor effect. I like the left hand side, but then the background and everything else, including Triclops, just looks very basic to me.
I get your point on that. I can see that.
It's I mean that Mossman is awesome, but yeah, I think I'm only going to go decent for this one for old Mossman. Yeah,
I'm going to meet you guys in the middle and go great. I don't think it's quite masterpiece. I would be tempted to put it in masterpiece because Tyler he does a great job of selling it, and I could see Tyler wanting it to create a story based off of just this image alone. So I'm going to go great. It's a really good piece.
Excellent. I mean, I get everyone's perspectives on this too. Like, I don't, it's not like, an echo chamber, James, if I would, if I may.
Yeah. If you may.
Yeah, you see what I did there? You see what I did there?
I see what I did there. Yeah. It's interesting. I'm just looking at the positioning, like.
Yeah, for whatever reason, OBS when I was doing it before would keep it static, and then I could just put the thing up, and then it would change and do fine. Now all of a sudden it wants to watch me do the magic and move everything around. It is what it is. Echo chamber. Next up is Leech.
Oh, I like this one a lot. I remember I worked this into the mini comic that I did years ago. I was like, I have to work that in.
Oh, yeah.
Odd to see Man at Arms with Mechanex Club, isn't it? I always forget about that.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
And I will say, because I'm sure you guys probably feel the same way, like Leech's pose is not as dynamic. It's like him like blasting out of the water and attach himself to Man at Arms like from behind. Like,
I mean, I think that you could easily replicate that with the toy. So maybe that's what they were going for.
I love the swamp background too. The swamp background looks really good. It's almost like it's dusk, in Eternian swamp there.
I think that the premise behind the illustration is stronger than the execution. It's like a really great idea for a pose and a situation, but I think the execution just lets it down slightly. It's a bit basic. Like the water looks. I'm getting into a real art class thing here, but it's like I feel like the water should be more like as if he's
I mean, we're
sprung
talking
up.
about a behemoth of a creature rising out of the. And you think like as big as he is to be submerged under the swamp water and no one know he's there.
Yeah.
You know, that's something too that it should be like this big blast of water. Right? So I get it, man.
I love Man at Arms' pose though. That kind of like he's always like his body is racked with pain, like kind of thing. And
he's defenseless at this point. Like he's a turtle on his back.
What if the reason that he has Mechanek's weapon is because Leech has already gotten to Mechanek, and Man at Arms has managed to find it along the way. Yeah.
Do you know what I was thinking? I wonder if excuse me, they originally illustrated Mechanek and then went like, no, this doesn't work. Let's illustrate Man.
That was going to be the other question that I
very
had.
Plausible.
That could have been.
Unfortunately, I've never seen the original artwork for this because the best thing about seeing the original Errol McCarthy artwork, like the actual illustration, is you see where he's pasted over things and changed things, like on the Triclops card art, where he's like leaning over the cliff looking at He-Man, which is an amazing image. He redid Triclops' hair, so I don't know what he did originally, but it probably gave him a ponytail like Seagal. But yeah, he redid the hair, and there's like a few little things like that. We're like, oh, they redid the face. Like a lot of Errol McCarthy's second wave faces for He-Man were different, but like because the first one he always made him look quite Conan-esque, like very kind of, you know what I mean, like very a lot of facial features, chiseled, and the second wave he's more youthful looking, his He-Man, and it's because there was a lot of like paste work done. So here, if we saw the original artwork, it may be that Man at Arms was like pasted on top or something. But it's I really like the premise and the colors and everything, but again, it's not great for me. I think it's just a decent.
Just a decent for James. Tyler, where are you landing on that?
I love the idea so much, but and I love the colors of the background and everything. But as we're talking about this too, I can't make it masterpiece and I can't make it great. I'm probably I'd say decent as well.
Do you know the funny thing is, knowing that this was coming this piece, I thought to myself, oh, this is going to be a great one. And then when I see the illustration, I was just like, oh, it's not as good as I remember.
Yeah,
I remember it being more like, but you look at it, it's like, oh, it's quite flat.
Yeah. I think the more we break it down, like you really can either make or break a lot of these. And I honestly, like, I can't think of any of the card arts that were just like, oh my god, this is like either it's a really good idea just not executed right, or this is drawn great but not a great idea, or it's just kind of so. Like I can't think of any of the card arts being one where you're just like, maybe it's a flat idea but it still looks good. Like I think like the sorceresses, like where she's coming to like stop Buzzsaw Hordak. It's not, plus the whole idea of like sorceress leaving Grayskull and outside of her Falcon form, like it's like I feel like they could have done something a little bit better, like her standing on top of Grayskull, projecting, blast at an oncoming enemy, from the parapet or something like that. But it still looks good. It's just not a great idea.
I am also going to go decent on this. I was close to making it great, but there's some about the water effect in there. It falls a little flat. Everything else on it looks pretty good. But
I love Man at Arms' pose, and I kind of wish Leech's arms were like grabbing a hold of one of Man at Arms' arms and one of his legs, like almost like in a torture rack kind of pose.
Yeah. Lex Luger style.
Torture rack.
I'm one of the greatest superstars. God.
Oh, this is badass, man.
I love this.
This fucking rocks.
Errol McCarthy.
This has got to be masterpiece for me.
Masterpiece.
Yeah. The other thing I've always loved about it is the fact that it's Roboto's original color scheme as well.
Yeah.
Which I always think is fascinating that it made it into this card art, which means they really must have that
last minute change.
Really last minute change to because the mini comic as well. He's in orange. He's sporting his orange colors. But yeah, like this to me is like a proper Errol McCarthy Wave 2 kind of illustration in that style where you've got the character in the foreground and the enemies, the foes in the distance, and seeing Triclops with a green He-Man power sword is just pretty cool. Just like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And
Also,
I love that this tells a story too. Like, it makes you wonder. Like, Triclops saw him first, got his ass whooped, and then Cobra Khan wants to have a shoot off with him, like a standoff.
Yeah,
it's like we're having Quick and the Dead right here between these two guys. You know, and Cobra Khan's cocky enough to think that he can take down Roboto. And it's just seeing like they're either various birds flying off in the background, like probably from a blast of Roboto's laser cannon, like scares a bunch of birds in the background.
Yeah,
and the palm trees, like it's a very like tropical setting for Eternity, which is something we've never seen before. But I fucking love it.
That's a very good point about the setting. It is. I've never really appreciated that, but you got tropical trees and wildlife when you think about it. It's like, where are they? Where on Eternia are they?
Damn it.
I mean, this is a piece that really sort of attacks all the senses, because as Tyler mentioned, you see the birds up there. This could have been a stray shot. It could have been dead silent, sweltering heat because of the trees. So it's like, it's hot. That goes off. Total silence, but then you hear the birds in the distance, and that's the only noise, and it just has the tension there. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Roboto's looking at Cobra Khan just saying, give me a reason. Give me a reason.
I think Triclops is looking at Roboto and going, I swear he's got Trapjaw's legs.
So I look at Triclops as if like, oh my God, like this guy just kicked the shit out of me.
Yeah, fucking robots, they should be outlawed.
Yeah.
So masterpieces all around. Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's one of those ones I just never forget. It's like, yep, that's in my brain.
Yeah. And I bought him I think I got him mint on card for $20 at the Happy's Flea Market, and seeing that card art, I was like, oh my God, I had never seen the card art before. It was unbelievable to see that.
So good. I've still got in my kind of in a box in the other room. I've got all the original card arts that I used to clip off, because I used to get.
I wish I had done that as a kid. I was too young to even think about that.
I would cut off the card at the top and the bottom with the cross-sell art. I'd cut them out individually, and then this is so weird. Like, this shows you how keen I was. Sometimes I'd get all the the cross-sell illustrations, like the Snake Men, and I put them in factions, and then I'd put them into like, what would be a good episode? Like, which characters? Almost like a character selection screen. I'd have.
That's awesome, dude.
It was really cool. The only one I never had, of course, because he was the rarest cross-sell character illustration, was Jitsu. I think Mattel must have lost him or something, because he just never showed up aside from, I think he was on like, not Panther. There was one vehicle he came with, and then that was it. You never saw his cross-sell again. It's bizarre.
Talking maybe Night Stalker,
which again, just goes to show that character was so shortchanged on so many levels, and I think that's one of the reasons that fueled my passion for the character. Like, not only was he an unbelievable badass from age 3, but like, why isn't this guy showing up more? And when it was like, oh my God, he's in the Rock Warriors, he's in Dragon Invasion. Like, it was a big deal.
When I first saw the toy of Jitsu, I still remember, because it would have been about, 84 that toy came out?
84, yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, when I saw it at the toy shelf, I was like, they've turned Mr. T into a He-Man figure, because he had the mohawk.
Yeah,
and he's quite dark. And I was just like, that's Mr. T. And at the same time, he's got the A-Team figures, which I was also buying. We had the B.A. Baracus figure, and like those. So I was like, I had Mr. T and Jitsu. And I was like, I've got 2 Mr. T's. Oh, dear.
So Jitsu's as badass as Mr. T.
Oh, he's so good, Jitsu. I loved his card art as well.
Next up is Mantena.
I like this one a lot because of the detail of the landscape that's featured in this card is amazing to me.
Who are the characters? So we've got He-Man. Oh, it's He-Man, Cyclone, Mossman, and I presume
Roboto.
Roboto, I didn't clock that.
That always impressed the hell out of me. The attention to detail that put in. All 3 brand new heroic warriors are featured in this, along with the entire fucking horde and the Fright Zone. It's
see, for me, the illustration stylistically isn't strong, but the composition again and the premise really is. So for me, I think this is a masterpiece, because
I agree.
It does everything you want. It shows you, like, if you look at the Mantena toy, like on a shelf, it's like, oh, it's a funny little gimmick. You look at the back and it's like, oh, this guy's he can do some shit. In the cartoon, he was treated as a goof. In the mini comic, God knows what was going on with Sikowski's art.
Yeah.
And then you look at this. This is probably like almost like the best version of him that you see in this vintage era. Where it's like, oh, Mantenna can do some stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And and of course it's pretty much very toyetic in terms of their poses, but the idea of taking that right hand and that he's summoning the rest through, okay, all right, follow me. Like Hordak's waiting for Mantenna's signal to like, okay,
he's doing the classic thing, like what police was it like that? Where it's like,
stop. Predator, yeah, when like Arnold does this, like, yeah. I'm like, I just love that Mantenna is looked upon. He is their tracker. He is the Billy of this group. So they're going to follow his lead, and it's like they're all waiting patiently for that. And I just love that. I mean, like it's just the details of the landscape, like this
what do you make of the sky?
Plateau.
What do you make of the sky? Because to me, it looks like obviously. It looks like the artist has almost done like a bit of a Kirby crackle with the sky.
Yeah, it makes me think of like something Hordak has done to the atmosphere, like to the environment around.
It's a really interesting choice.
Make it look like if you come this way, you'll leave this cosmic storm that Hordak is called, to bring them closer to the Fright Zone, bring them closer to the clutches of the Horde.
It's a lovely piece. It really is. Yeah,
I never thought about the sky until, I mean, like in terms of like that it could have meant anything until you just brought that up, James.
Well, I think the best card art, and it's something you guys have covered before, the best card art should always kind of make you think and go like, how did this happen? Why is this doing it? What's that over there? Who's that little dragon running away from man he faces a mermaid? That kind of thing. You want to be you like Tyler often says, it's like you want to know the story of this. And this is one where it's like, this isn't mid-story, this is like the beginning of something, and that's the beauty of it. It's like, is this obviously it's an ambush, or are they just tracking them? Are they just like, right, they've left Eternus, let's go and attack the palace?
I see it as like this is the climax. Like,
oh, you really?
He-Man and the heroic warriors have gone through to get to this point, to be drawn this way. Like what has drawn them this way? Are they on a rescue mission? Are they searching for something? Like something is bringing them this way, that the Horde are like, oh, we have to do this. We have to lure them. Let us know, man. Go on point, Mantenna. Let us know when can we attack.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, it's more like a precursor to an attack, isn't it?
And I think one of the coolest things about it too is, let's say you're a young kid and you randomly just get this Mantenna figure, and this is the first Master Universe figure you have, right? So not only do you get the mini comic, which is whatever, but if you turn around and you look at this, you get the visual of all these other characters on the left are with him.
Yeah.
What is this? And if you're drawn into it, then you go buy more figures. So there were so many creative ways that they found to sell more toys, all contained within one package. You not only get the story of this, the mini comic that's included, but then just the cross-sell artwork on the back to show you, hey, here's other figures that you don't have.
But the beauty of it is, especially with the Horde and a lot of these specific cardbacks, is these characters, probably, are there to sell toys, but they make sense within the context of the illustration.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, you look at the Dragon Blaster Skeletor one, and we didn't think it was the best piece of card art, but you think, oh, you could just load that up with all the new toys, but it's like, no, that doesn't make sense. The story they're trying to tell. The Roboto one, there's a story there. The Mossman one, there's a story. The best card art tells a story. It's not just an illustration, a fight for the sake of a fight. It's, you want to know what's going on. The background as well sells you on this scenario, and like this is a beautiful example of there's a story here, and what is it? So based on all of that, masterpiece.
That's something I really wish. Well, I hate that it just went the way of the dodo. I mean, in the 90s, like we just didn't have. We had decent card like packaging, but nothing to the extent of like helping sell the toy on the back. I mean, you just would look at the pictures of the figures that were available, and that was really about it.
Yeah,
G.I. Joe had the file card and all the beautiful, Fireburst artwork on the front and the back of other figures, but no other toy line. I mean, like emphasizing adventure on the back, on top of the mini, like Nathan said, the mini comic, the cross artwork of all the characters you can buy, but then this illustration on the back. I mean, there were some that stuck out to me even as a kid, which I you know, always had fond memories of certain ones that just got burned into my head. And it was so cool years later to realize that fans always celebrated the card art. Like it wasn't just me thinking like, no, it clearly left an impact on the fans.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like the card art for me was some of the it was almost like the first thing I'd see when I'd see the figure and I'd look at the illustration on the back. I think I may have told the story before, but it was always worth retelling. I remember the first time I went into the toy shop, and I wasn't aware that there was a new wave of Master Universe figures coming in. I walk in, and I see Battle Armor He-Man, or no, it was Whiplash. I see Whiplash in the toy shop. I was like, "What is this?" And I flipped it over, and I will never forget. As a child, I must have been like 6, 7 years old. My brain looked at all these figures on the back. Bear in mind, I've never seen these figures before. You've got Mechanic, you've got Clawful, you've got Battle Armor He-Man, Battle Armor Skeletor. And because He-Man and Skeletor were wearing this armor that was so different, I remember thinking to myself, whatever, it wouldn't have been as maybe as wordy as this, but I remember thinking, oh, they're making it like science fiction now. Like my brain literally went like that. I saw He-Man in this armor. I saw Mechanic. And I just thought to myself, oh, it's going in a different way. And I remember like seeing the mini comic, Clash of Arms, and looking at the coming soon at the bottom, the back page of the mini comic, and seeing all the names. And to this day, I still remember thinking like, who's Road Ripper? What's that character going to be like? Because it didn't say it's a vehicle, but I was just like, Road Ripper, he sounds amazing. I was like, oh, it's a green dragon vehicle, but that's still cool. But yeah, walking into the toys section, just flipping over those, you'd look at the figure and think like, holy cow, you need to see the back and see the illustration. And it was so underrated how genius their marketing was, because not only was it selling you on the toys, but the cross sell as well. It wasn't just like, prior to He-Man, it was often just like line art illustrations of toys, but you had, I think it was William George did all those cross-sell illustrations, and they're all gorgeous illustrations.
Every single one of them. I mean,
especially those early ones where it was like Merman was different, Triclops, Trapjaw. It's like, man, these are awesome.
I was so fixated because I didn't have Triclops and Trapjaw until I was in second grade. As I got them from someone who had like 3 or 4 of them. But I was so fixated on the look of Triclops and Trapjaw on the back of the mini comics. I would just sit and just look. And oh my god! I hope one day I can own those because they just look so fucking amazing.
It's so strange that you had. I think I'm sure I must have talked to you about it before. But like growing up, like we had this main toy shop in Enfield where I was born and lived, and they had all the Master Universe figures. They was like this stacked full of Master Universe figures, and I remember like. I could never get Triclops and Trapjaw. It was just impossible to find.
Wow.
To the point where my dad one day said, I found Triclops and Trapjaw. They're in this toy shop in Potter's Bar, which was about a half-hour drive from where we lived. So we drove one Saturday. And I remember didn't pick up both, picked up Triclops first. I was just like, I've got Triclops, and then got Trapjaw shortly after. And it's so weird to look back and, just that. It's like these days they call it toy hunting. Back then it was just trying to find figures that are very popular,
I can totally relate to that. It seemed like any time going into a Hills or a Walmart was just the unknown. Nowadays you go there and you know that 9 times out of 10 the shelf's going to be empty. You're not going to find anything. But back then you knew that they had the stuff, but you were hoping that they would have the exact figure that you needed. So I can't imagine the feeling that you got when your dad told you like, hey, I found them. They're a half hour away. We will go and get them, and the anticipation and excitement, but also too the idea that you could get there and they might not be there either.
I still remember like in the car journey back, just looking at the back of the card of Triclops and looking at the illustrations on the left-hand side, like turn his eyes and he sees everything. Just like looking at that illustration, thinking it was the coolest thing. And then going into school the following day, on the Monday. And I suddenly, because I had such I had such an obsession with Triclops that I said to my dad, "What happens when you've got 4 eyes?" My dad was like, "Well, that's quad." And I was like, "Quadriclops," and I would get all these different names. So I created these characters like with just more and more eyes, and it became like ridiculous. But I was just like, "Oh man," I was so like thought Triclops was the coolest thing. But
5 eyes, Pentaclops. Oh no,
it was walking into that toy shop though was like so magical because it was like a, as you guys would call it, like a mum and pop store. It was like a small, it was like a really kind of thin shop, but it was really like it went on for ages. It was like Narnia or something, but it was so tightly packed that you were like walking. There was all these He-Man figures, and Transformers were behind those, and around the corner of this center aisle were all these. Like I say, aisle. It was just like this stand of more He-Man figures. But one of the best things that toy shop had was they had the Mattel catalog on the outside. And that's where I remember seeing all the prototypes. And when I first got online in like late '95, I was like, "Has anyone seen this photo of Jitsu with webbed feet?" It was like I remember seeing it in this catalog. It was like, "What are you talking about?" And then Emiliano turns up in '98 with his Masters of the Universe Unbound website.
Yep.
And he had all these prototype scans of like prototype Orko and Jitsu. And I was like, "There's Jitsu with webbed feet. I knew it wasn't a dream." I remember seeing that catalog, going home. Like this was after school one day, seeing the catalog, phoning my friend Wayne Mullen and being like, Wayne, they're releasing Snake Mountain. Because in the catalogue it was really red as well. It was like a purpley red. And we were like, Wayne, they're releasing it. I was just like so excited.
Don't you wish that you could just take that emotion that you felt in that moment and like draw up a little potion and just keep it on the shelf, and anytime you just feel like shit and you're just like, I hate everything, just grab it off the shelf, just take a swig of it. Yeah. Now I remember.
But I'll be honest, like, and that's why I think I've said to you guys before, talking about this stuff, celebrating this stuff, whether it be via YouTube channel, via magazines, via social media posts, whatever it is, my mission has always been to celebrate Masters of the Universe, not like dwell on stuff I don't like about it, because, why would I do that?
Only fucking losers do that.
Although I will do my best to make sure people one day love the New Adventures of He-Man. That's the one fight.
I will say they don't have to love the cartoon. It's the concept. I will always champion the concept and the characters because it's a great concept. I love the mutants and the Galactic Guardians because that's what they were.
But Tyler's secret love of the scientists because they were the best. Like
and they can all eat my ass. God, they all suck. What the fuck were they thinking with the shitty voice acting with those guys?
Oh dear.
There's not one that looks like a fucking scientist. Those like silk merchants, monks. One that looks like a fucking school teacher. It's just one that looks like the unit from Game of Thrones. It's
God!
Oh my God! And they just couldn't wait to. The robots didn't mind, but the scientists like, oh my God! Like someone give me a gun.
That was worth it.
Oh God.
Well, on that note, let me. I gotta stop myself.
I love the concept here, but it's meh.
It's the Grizzlaw. It's so wrong. He looks like teenage Grizzlaw.
He looks like a critter.
Yeah, he looks like a critter. Yeah.
And the pose for Cobra Khan is just like that. That's it. Just this.
Cobra Khan looks like he's got the sun in his eyes. He's like, I can't see.
It's like he's not. It's like it's a mild irritation to have this mammoth of a warrior come jumping down from the mountainside at you.
Well, the weird thing is, you say mountainside edge. If you look, there's a weird area of blue behind him that looks like it's been placed over something that was there, which was probably more. I reckon what it was is that the artist illustrated more mountain, but because Grizzlaw's so hairy and detailed, he blended in with the background.
Yeah.
So I think they just made it like a flat blue color.
Well, see, I look at it as like shadow, like this is like dusk, like the sun is starting to set, so there's like a massive shadow cast on this mountainside that he's probably hiding on.
You're being generous to me.
You're being very generous.
It looks like a bunch of fart clouds or something right there.
Grizzlaw.
I was gonna say maybe behind him, like the rocks that are falling, could pass for fart clouds.
It's just not like
it's not great though. This should have been like Cobra Khan's on like this mountain path, and he is stopped in his tracks by Grizzler, who's just begging, like I want you to come through me.
Yeah. Something like that. Or the whole thing wasn't Grizzlor in the toy line and in the start of the Filmation cartoon, he was touted as the Beast Master, wasn't he? He controlled the prison, right? And
he was the gatekeeper of the prison at the Fright Zone, and that's something that was never utilized.
You think like you could have him by the gate with with the dragon nearby and like someone imprisoned or him imprisoning
like
someone.
He's grabbing him out of the cell to feed them to the beast monster.
Yeah, something like that. Like, come here, Cyclone. Cyclone's like, no, I've got to appear on a card art. It's like, too bad. Gonna feed you to the dragon. But this one just looks like it's really everything about Grizzle just looks wrong. It's like the artist just I guarantee. I mean, we know this almost for a fact. The artist only had the toy to work from, and he's probably just gone like, "What the fuck do I do with this?"
Yeah.
What is this? A porcupine? Is it a hairy? I don't understand what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think this is easily, I think, probably the worst of the bunch. For sure.
Well, there's one other one that I'm like, I think is very piss poor, and we haven't gotten it yet. But this one, I mean, it's either matte or it stinks.
To me, it stinks. This sucks. I don't like this at all.
Yeah, I think I'm going to join Nathan in that. I don't like saying that about any kind of Master Universe artist, but this it's not a good piece at all. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. It stinks.
Yeah, me too.
I was wondering if we were actually going to have any stinky ones, but
I mean, we all agreed. Like, there's I love the concept of Cobra Khan taking on Grizzlor, but damn it, like you could have picked a better scenario on a mountainside, on a cliff, anywhere, or Grizzlor's is captured him, is gonna throw him into the prison of the Fright Zone. We got this.
We got that.
Up next,
we got next.
Cyclone.
Oh yeah, masterpiece. This one was burned into my head when I got Cyclone at Hills. I love this.
This kind of reminds me of that very early Errol McCarthy artwork where the characters are almost battling on desolate but slightly volcanic terrains.
Yeah.
This one always reminds me of the Fisto card art because I think it's just like you've got this almost barren wasteland, like they're fighting on I'm guessing like a geyser field if you want to be kind of Filmation-esque about it.
That's how I took it.
His pose is great. It makes sense with the character. Skeletor looks amazing coming from behind the clouds. He's wearing the battle armor, which obviously ranks him high with you guys. I'm going to say masterpiece this one because it's just one that I always remember. If someone said illustrate this from memory, obviously I wouldn't do Errol McCarthy justice, but I could nail the poses easily because it's there.
And Cyclone's face looks very strong and heroic. Like he's not. It's just like he just realized behind the smoke of the geysers. Like he's caught him on the radar and just spinning to attack him before Skeletor can, in his mind, he's probably thinking I'm gonna axe this guy or slash this guy in the back and it ain't happening, asshole. It's just awesome. I just love Cyclone's color scheme. He's my favorite heroic warrior. I just love the emphasis on the lenticular sticker, the radar screen is great. I should have worn my Cyclone tank top tonight. I didn't think about that.
Do you know, Cyclone's color scheme has always reminded me of Nova from Marvel Comics.
Yeah,
the man, more like the 1970s, 1980s one, like the man called Nova.
Yeah,
and I was just like, it kind of reminds me of that. Don't get me wrong, great figure though. Love the figure.
And it's almost too like the radar on the chest slightly bigger than usual in other illustrations too, to really hammer that home.
But I love that though, because I was all about that lenticular sticker as a kid. I just loved it. The texture of the sticker I thought was really cool, touching my finger and just to move his chest back and forth to see the radar screen move. Yeah. This is so cool.
I was going to say he's got two gimmicks in one, hasn't he? He's got the lenticular sticker and the spinny waist. Usually it's one or the other, but to have both, it's
He was maxed out with gimmicks.
Yeah, he really was.
Much like Roboto. Roboto was maxed out too with the arm attachments and then the see-through chest.
The mouth as well.
Yeah.
Bitty, bitty, bitty. Yeah.
Liking Alan Oppenheimer's shitty interpretation.
We are agreeing a lot. I am also going to put the Cyclone in Masterpiece. Up next.
We got next.
Stinkor.
This
like this one.
This was the other Dave Stevens one, the Rocketeer guy. I know that for a fact. So he illustrated this one as well.
It's basic and this almost looks like this could be like at Grayskull almost, like the structure,
the terrain,
the terrain almost looks like it'd be Grayskull, but also could be like a rocky terrain too, like and the intense heat, which would probably make Stinkor's stench even that much more potent.
Yeah.
Do you know what I love about this? Like, you know, for me, I said before, Errol McCarthy is the king of the cardback illustration. But again, what I love about this, it's so bold. And even though He-Man's like based on the action figure, I love his pose. I love the way Stinkor's kind of in shot. I think this one's really good. I think they really sell Stinkor as like a menace in this.
Yeah.
And I love, because this always to me sold the threat, is if He-Man is in peril.
Yeah.
Like it intensifies like the okay, this is a legit bad guy here. Like He-Man's like, and to see He-Man like can't breathe and dropping the power sword, like that's something you just didn't see him do. That's why I felt like Stinkor is probably the most underrated villain of the entire Master Universe roster, I think.
It's funny when you think about Stinkor, like, you know, we all know the body's repurposed from Merman and the armor's repurposed from Mechanic, but it's weird to think that Mechanic was in the previous wave, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, right, let's use the armor again. It's like, won't they remember that it was used? It doesn't matter. Let's just use it again.
And it was years, because I never had a merman until I was in high school. So I was always led the figure looked like the cross-cell artwork. So when I got Stinkor and would turn his face to see what he looked like underneath, like the face shield, I thought, oh man, he looks you know, just like an evil skunk. Like, this is great. And then
it's weird when you think about it. The figure mold works better for Stinkor than it does for Merman.
It does. Yeah.
He looks, when you look at this illustration as well, he looks like his markings and everything. It makes sense. It's like, oh, he's skunk-like. Yeah, I get it. When you see Merman's final figure mold, it's like, I don't quite get that. Whereas when you see the prototype, it's like, oh, I get that. You know, it's yeah, and obviously this one's got it's where he originally had Stratos' arms, didn't he? And then they changed the furry arms, and then they changed it to Skeletor arms, you know, the kind of gloves, as it were.
Which I think that would have worked either way.
Yeah,
and he had like Beast or Stratus's feet too, like Beast.
That's
and Stratus's feet to start out with.
Because the cross-cell artwork shows all that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Which that worked, but I'm glad they went with like the web store feet.
Yeah, me too.
And like the I guess like essentially was the who the hell's arms? What did he end up with?
Skeletor's. Well, Skeletor's web
that's right. Yeah,
Skeletor's, the gloved ones, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. But, it just looked great, and I think you've touched on this, or said you were going to do this like a future video, but why Filmation thought this would be offensive as a walking fart joke? Like, they clearly didn't get the concept of the character.
It depends. Like, I think, imagine if, bear in mind, they wouldn't have had the mini comic or anything like that. They were probably just given the prototype, which probably looked exactly like the cross-cell artwork. And it was like, right, here's this character, that character, and probably just like, what do we do with that? You know, I think like the walking fart gag is probably, they didn't think at the time, but probably thought like, oh yeah, what are we going to do with a smelly character, you know? And I can kind of get that decision. Flushing me up drunk eating a McDonald's.
I was wondering if you're going to catch that or not.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But yeah, like with that meeting, that was the same. I think, or was it another meeting where they introduced the Bashosaurus? But unfortunately, it was called the Ball Buster at the time, so Lou was like, "I'm not using that." And so it's I can kind of get those decisions. But yeah, I mean, like when you look at Stinkor and other media, like the Stench of Evil. I love him in that, and most of his comic appearances and stuff, he was done justice, as it were. But yeah, it's weird that he just never made it. When you look at that final wave of villains in the cartoon, Too Bad Spike or Cyclone Robisso.
Oh, well, he really would have been treated like shit had he made the lineup.
I love Filmation, but what I said recently, what they did to Too Bad, it's like, can you imagine the voice they would have given to Stinkor or something? It's just like,
yeah, it would have been Alan Oppenheimer like flapping his lips and spitting all over the place or something.
What like Sylvester?
It makes me think like how Roger Rabbit talks.
Oh,
yeah.
Or how Daffy Duck, he's
It,
a
it depends.
Skeletor.
It depends how like they would have drawn him, obviously, because the whole thing is with the actors is they say, we look at the character and decide, well, this is the voice we're going to give them. But it's like you think with Stinkor, it's like, what would the animation model have looked like? And I've seen people interpret it over the years, but you'll never know for sure unless there is an illustration somewhere. Like Emiliano's still got thousands of pieces of Filmation artwork to scan. So I'll keep bugging him until the day I die. I'm like, come on, Emiliano.
Well, where are we landing here with the Stinkor card?
I'm gonna say great.
Me too.
I'm actually honestly, I think I'm gonna go masterpiece.
Wow,
go for it. Yeah.
I think everyone is drawn really well. I love the contrast in colors, having the sun up there, the red sky, and then the greens contrasting with the characters. Stinkor looking very powerful. We're putting him over, and then of course He-Man wearing the battle armor. That's my favorite variant.
Yeah,
of He-Man, so I'm gonna go masterpiece.
And what's cool too is that Stinkor only needs a shield because he is a weapon. Like if you're willing enough to get close enough to swing anything at him, I mean you're not going to make much contact anyway because you can't breathe around him. So I just again, that's somebody that just I was glad he showed him MYP. Then he farts at the end of his first appearance. You're like, fuck.
That episode, like, I recently touted how much I enjoyed it, but that final shot where you're like, Stinkor's been like, here we go, he's Odifus, he's like, and they've built this character arc, and here we are with Stinkor, and then the last thing is like, God, me, Stinkor, and it's like, and Skeletor's just like, no.
I wish I could have been sitting there with Tyler watching that episode. It would have been much like me and when Jericho came back and he had his title match and like JBL interfered and I got all pissed off about it. I'm like, terrible. Oh God, why are they doing this?
Masterpiece.
Up next is Too Bad.
Yeah, it's a classic image, isn't it? Really.
Oh my God, I just love how threatening he looks, and Teela's got a great like pose, like she's getting ready to attack. Yeah. I love He-Man's with the battle axe. Something you don't see too often anymore.
It's. I mean, like again, you tell a story. It's not just that. It's showing that. Oh yeah, this guy can take on 3 warriors. It's like that's amazing. It's just it looks so cool.
And again, I James, you just pointed out recently in your video. It's something I've always felt too. Like the figure is sold as a strategist, however you want to pronounce it, and never given a consistent run of like being someone that, and like in the style guide, like he's described as someone that Skeletor would feel like we could possibly overthrow him at Snake Mountain.
I mean, look right here. It says twice the plotting power. Power. So yeah.
And to just make them just buffoonish, that's why it meant so much how Larry Taylor depicted them in The Monster Within.
I loved it.
Like, that's the best episode of the entire series, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you on that. It's a fantastic episode because obviously you've got the Manny Faces story and the Too Bad story, 2 plots working together at the same time and both telling great stories. And the what I love about Too Bad, like I wasn't too keen on. I like the idea of Tuvar and Badra. Okay, I'm cool with that. Wasn't too keen on them being martial arts like expert fighters, but I thought the way that episode played up the whole Predator thing was fantastic. I was
God. That's all I could think about when I'm like, oh my God, Tuvar is like Predator. This is fucking amazing.
That's what sold me on it. It was like, if you'd said separate Too Bad into 2 characters, I wouldn't have ever said, make him 2 like warriors that like. But it works so well, and I love the fact in the Mike Young. Don't get me wrong, classic Too Bad for me all the way, which is probably like my mantra for so many of these figures. But I did love about the Mike Young Productions design where Badra was like more hunched over hulkish.
Yeah. And like his eyebrows were kind of furrowed down. Like he was just kind of like, and I like that, I was cool with Tuvar being more skilled in hand-to-hand combat, whereas Badra was more of a brute.
He was a brute,
intelligent.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was great. Like they're both smart, 2 different styles, 2 different sizes. clearly know each other, clearly hate each other.
Yeah.
Larry, I wish I could thank him over and over again for everything he's done for He-Man. And this would be one of the things, because he made a character that was so shitty in Filmation. Like, oh my God, like it's just unbelievable. And I still to this day refer to them as Two Bar and Badger. I don't call them Bluehead and Yellow Band. I just say Two Bar and Badger.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of this card back, like again, this feels like a proper Errol McCarthy illustration. Like again, it's kind of this is almost like up Tyler's alley, but it feels like this is the same location where He-Man and Whiplash have their card back fight.
Yeah.
That giant kind of rocky mountain structure on the left hand side of the thing. It's just like, and He-Man's rocking his battle armor again. But what I loved about the later Errol McCarthy illustrations was the use of like whites on the illustration for highlights. They're very it's like a real stark contrast, but it really sells.
It looks good though.
It looks really good. It sells the depth of the character of like the illustration. But I think this is a masterpiece, man.
So masterpiece for James, masterpiece for Tyler. I'm actually going to go with great on this one.
Oh, what's kind of like what's kind of undersold it a bit to get? I guess obviously it's great, but like what is it that you feel like it's lacks a little bit to reach that top tier?
I think honestly it's let me get it fixated back here.
It's reversed.
Yeah, it's reversed, but yeah, you get the point. I'll get it straightened back out. I think maybe it is kind of the white highlights in there that kind of it's too much of a contrast for me personally.
Oh,
okay.
It's like if you look at Man at Arms right here on the side, you have the whites there, but then there's all the whites and the grays that are it kind of like
right behind him.
It almost drowns him out enough to where his face is almost kind of blending in with the rock instead of being on his body.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not quite masterpiece level for me, but
okay.
Yeah, I'll put it in great. Well, James has got his masterpiece block almost filled up here.
Yeah.
Masterpiece for Tyler. And great for me. All right. Up next. And honestly, we only got 2 more left.
Oh.
Would you like to do Thunder Punch first or Hordak first?
Tyler, any preference?
Tyler, since James picked at the beginning, you picked between these two.
I'm going to save the best of those two for last. So Thunder Punch, He-Man.
Yeah.
This sucks. I was so underwhelmed when I saw that for the first time. Like, what is this?
Yeah. A fantastic toy. I love Thunder Punch He-Man.
Oh, me too.
Like when I got that figure again, I can still remember it. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. You know, just like so awesome. And yet the weird thing is, like, I mean, Whiplash 1 is too big. If he was standing up, he would tower over He-Man because he's drawn far too big. He should be falling back further and like smaller. And Whiplash, I think, is illustrated really well, but it's a terrible pose. It's that thing of like Errol McCarthy's style is there, but it's just a really kind of flat image for something that should be like, when you think about the mini comic that had the modular mini comic that had Thunder Punch He-Man and all those powerful panels where he's like all this stuff, and it's just like, yeah, this doesn't fill me with excitement.
I wish He-Man's punch was more of a thrown forward as opposed to like the kind of the twisting waist punch.
Yeah.
And I just look at Whiplash and going like it just doesn't look like this awesome effect of like he's being knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know,
because when people get knocked out, they tend to do this.
You know, it's like it just doesn't work at all. Like
Tyler, what was that noise from?
Yeah.
What?
When you did the falling thing, you used to do that with something else.
What the?
No, when you were falling back. Yeah, you used that for something else back in the day when you used to get a kick out of it, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
I don't think I think of it, which wasn't the same noise when I used to pretend like
that wasn't when Tyler used to phone your house doing heavy breathing and go, and you're like, who is this? Please stop calling me.
I actually got a prank call once on my
Really?
cell phone back in the day, and no one was talking, and I was just like, "Oh, okay. Well, you're not even gonna like ask me what my favorite scary movie is," and then they didn't do anything, and then I was like, "All right, I'll just hang up." But whatever.
God, that's so fucking lame.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid. Yeah, and once again, putting the bang right there, I get why you have to do it, but it's unnecessary, and just having the clouds right there. Once again, much like Grizzlor, it looks like he's farting or something.
Yeah,
it's like He-Man's fart the bottom
box, poof looks like He-Man's taking he's just unleashing a big fart.
Mm-hmm. It's not good.
It's a very late, and this may have been one of those ones where Errol's just trying to grind this shit out and get it done, but I mean, it really should be He-Man like lunging forward and just like Whiplash's face like turning to the left or the right. You know,
I'm thinking of one of those great like Larry Houston panels where like he does the John Buscema kind of the punch and the garn going going into the background. That's what it should be.
There's no background. Like there's nothing around them.
It's weird. It doesn't sell anything about the location. It just looks like it's like Whiplash has gone up to shake his hand or something. It's like, how you doing, him? It's weird.
I mean, this should have been like during like a rainstorm in front of State Mountain or Grayskull or something.
With all of that being said, is this worse than Grizzlor, or is this one slightly better?
I'm going to say worse than Grizzlor because because at least we have a mountainous terrain. I mean, don't get me wrong, all the poses stink. For both of these, but at least there's more texture to the background, and I feel like it's an idea that should have been executed completely differently. But whereas this, there's nothing to work with here. We really have to come up with everything from the ground up.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, do you know what would have been an even better pose? Think about the Fisto card art that Errol McCarthy did. Imagine that with He-Man boshing like Whiplash. But for me, this is just a meh.
It stinks for me.
I'm with James. I think this is also a meh for me. There's just something about Grizzlor. It just sucks.
I don't argue any of Errol's points. I just feel like I guess if we had background on this one, maybe I could argue a little bit differently. But
I'm with you in that.
Yeah,
if it had a little more going on, I could see you bumping it up. But there's just something about.
I probably would, but the poses in both of them suck. The ideas that they're showing us suck. It could have been done so much better, so much more easily. But
I guess we're gonna end on a masterpiece, right?
Fuck
yeah. It's ridiculous how good this is.
Yeah. And I didn't notice as a kid because I got this was one of my Christmas Day presents of '87. So my mind was blown as it is. When I understood what Santa Claus was about. So I got 5 He-Man figures, all 4 Ghostbusters connected one and staple up all under the tree at the same time. Like in my head, just fucking exploded.
Bloody hell! That must have been some Christmas.
That's why it's still my favorite Christmas.
Yeah.
I went back to the Christmas tree the day after, thinking Santa Claus. Did he come back? I had no idea what it really was until you.
It sounds like there was nothing left in Santa's sacks. It sounds like he emptied his sacks all under your tree.
His sack all over my tree there.
Yeah, he's like, whoa, just like everything. Yeah, wow.
I was just like, oh, God. It was unbelievable. So it was years later before I noticed that he was carrying the Havoc staff.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things that I forget. It's like, oh yeah, what a bizarre thing. And Tyler, I can imagine your mind is already working. It's like, so he recently beat up Skeletor, and he's like, I'm going to nick his Havoc staff because that's
the Horde showed up. They beat the shit out of Skeletor, Triclops, everybody, and now they're going to go. They're going to go take Castle Grayskull.
My worst enemy staff, his truest weapon, and I'm going to take what he holds sacred. Is taking Castle Grayskull.
And it may not be the most detailed illustration. I think we agree on that. But even that Grizzlor looks better than his actual card art.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's like, because the proportions of that Grizzlor are what you want. Whereas the artist that did the actual Grizzlor card art, like you said, a critter. It's like a ball of fur with like, hello, I'm Grizzlor. Yeah. Whereas here it's like, oh no, that's Grizzlor.
Montana maintaining the same pose more or less.
It's just the action figure, but it's, again, we've pointed this out before. Like, there's certain ones where they're just all they're doing is just drawing the toy. But if you paint a scenario like they're there by themselves, getting ready to take on Grayskull, the drawbridge is open.
Yeah.
Like it's there for the taking. There's no one else around to stop them. That's a scenario I want to see played out, and to see them all ready to conquer Grayskull. Like it's just like down below that looks like almost like a massive like dust cloud or like leading down to the abyss around Grayskull.
That's what I was thinking. I was looking at thinking, you could kind of make the argument that it's abyss-like, you know.
And just having the different perspectives of everyone too, like a side profile of Grizzlord, kind of like half back Leech, and then Montana and Modulok.
It's like it's what they used to, well, it's what they illustrate in the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. That kind of, you know, here's
VHS tape.
Oh really? I've still got the original book I got in '86, I think it was. One of my first ever purchases from a comic shop. I was like, bought it, and I was like, wow. But they use these like, it's like if you were to draw a black stripe from Grizzlord always round to Modulok, it's like here's your kind of grouping, and they're all focused on this way. I love this piece. It may not be illustrated with that Errol McCarthy kind of detail and stuff, but it's perfect. It's bold. It's almost like the perfect balance of everything across this wave of cardbacks.
Yeah,
it's really bold. It's got great colors, and I think the Evil Horde just lend themselves to like this kind of really cool illustration when they're all together, and obviously we're better than Hordak's cardback.
And I love too that Hordak, even though it's his card art, but they're all featured, but he's got the most dynamic pose. Like, look, it's ours.
Yeah.
Like Grayskull is ours for the taking. You know, it's
Nathan, can you do me a favor? Can you zoom in on, as we're looking at it, Hordak's left leg? So his leg on his left. Can we just zoom in there if you can?
Yeah.
Because I just want to see something. Like if you zoom in, like I'm having to look at it on my telly because my phone screen I can't quite. I was just wondering, like looking at his legs. I was wondering, like, I wonder if they originally, I can't quite tell, but because you know when the original Hordak figure was made, he was blue skinned.
Yes.
And I just suddenly thought to myself, I wonder if like they painted him blue and then went over him like with grey, and that's why there's like almost like a bluey hue to the grey. But that's just, I think that's what my eyes want to see. It's one of those things where it's sort of like I'm sure I can see blue there, but I'm looking at it in close up, which I appreciate you doing, Nathan. I'm like, I don't think it is blue. I think I'm just kind of, that's what I want to see.
You're just colorblind.
I'm just colorblind, yeah.
Turns out. So safe to say for our final piece, masterpieces all around, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, we got masterpiece up here. So I think overall, James, well, let's see. You have James has looks like 6 masterpieces. Tyler has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 masterpieces, and I have 5. So, or wait, no, 6. Now that I add Hordak there, so we differed on a few things, but agreed on a lot of things. For the most part,
we did.
Yeah, when you look at decent downwards, it's like you got Leech, Thunder Punch, He-Man, and Grizzlord. It's like you poor fuckers.
So everyone at home, get a good look at our final rankings there, and that'll do it for Wave 4.
I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break.
I'm gonna grab a Coke Zero.
We need to Coke Zero. I love the product placement there.
Well, while the guys leave me hanging, I got some questions queued up. I will get some comments laid up here.
You get your drink, and then I'll take off.
No, you guys take off.
All right.
I got this. I can do it. I promise. I've been doing it long enough. As we stated before, links are down below. Check out all of those YouTube channels and Battle Ram blog, especially because that's where a lot of these images come straight from. So it helps us out a lot on the show for me to go to that website most of the time and find what I can. Because ever since the org went the way of the dodo, all that stuff went along with it. So you got to scour the internet to find all of these things. A Battle Ram blog always has high quality images of pretty much almost anything I need at any given time to use on the show. So I don't know. Did Tyler make it to the bathroom? We'll find out. But yeah, check all that out. Got a question here from Fedmon that I will set aside momentarily. And let me go ahead and get our comments on last week's video. As we stated before, if you're not able to make it here and join us live, leave a comment down below. I will read all the comments that you guys leave for us on the previous week's episode. I guess I can start reading these off because with Tyler being frozen. Oh, there he is. Tyler, you are back?
Yes, I am back.
Okay, there you go. So one of the comments that we got on last week's episode, this comes from Jeff Prime 4579. Bro, Adam realizing the Hoarder evil would have been simpler than that. He would have run into 10 hot rebel babes, and that would have been that. He's a rebel now.
I cannot argue that at all because I've always emphasized like Adam hanging out on Ethereum with all these beautiful women. Like, why am I going back to Eternity again?
Yeah.
Like, you could shack up with Castaspella one night, shack up with Frosty the other night, shack up with Queen Angela, and then go down the hallway, shack up with Glimmer, and then Natasha, come hither and just go, Mermista, I'm in the mood for fish. It's just the line goes, the Star Sisters, all three of them, Like, yeah, it's easy to picture He-Man just becoming like the biggest ladies' man on that entire planet. Even like swooning like Katra and Huntara, I could easily see all of them having I look at that. Here's the Star Wars on it.
You what?
I just say we're selling Coke cans with Star Wars characters on them now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got Darth Vader and.
Oh God, Tyler, you're actually collecting that garbage?
Well, I only got two because they were only available. Like that, so I bought a case with Darth Vader, and then I got. Actually, no, it was just Darth Vader because the others are from the Marvel cans from last year.
Okay, are there any other of the Star Wars that you're looking for? Because I buy Coke Zero quite a bit.
Well, I've been told the roster and the lineup, like they got characters on 20-ounce bottles too. But Lando was going to be released. Like if I ever found a Lando, I would get him.
Are they doing like they did with the Marvel, and they're not mixing them up so you get a case?
Yeah, it's one character per can.
Okay,
but like there's certain ones for Coke Zero, certain ones for Coke, and then they have like 24 packs.
And
I've looked through them as I've stocked them this summer, and I'm like. I got a case for Darth Vader. I took one can and gave the rest to Erica to hand out to people. But I was just like, I'm over it by this point. I'm like,
why are they promoting Star Wars?
It's just like they did with Marvel last year. They put Marvel characters on the cans, and it was just kind of a. I'm sure something Coke's done with Disney, but it's the best thing that Star Wars has going for it right now. I'll tell you that.
Yes, gonna say yeah.
I mean, because they got all kinds of shitty characters on the cans too, but they've also got classic characters, and that's why
just made up ones. Like, oh, you don't know who Flampton Shalgazar is? I'm like, who the fuck is that? I just made him up.
Well, I'm sure it's some background character in the what was that last one that came on that bombed? It starts with an A.
Andor.
No. Well, there's that one. What's the one with like I had like all the like Force witches, and like that's where the Force originates and all that shit.
I don't know. I don't care.
Whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit. Fuck Star Wars.
But before we got onto that, before Tyler got entranced by your Coke Zero can that you brought back, basically we were discussing one of the comments that we got on last week's video, and essentially
you guys suck. You're like, yeah, let's discuss this.
It's going to happen at some point. I'm sure.
I'm sure it will. It's not what it used to be, guys. That essentially James Adam was like if you plopped James Etok down on Etheria, that's the way Adam would have been with all the hot rebel babes out there, and he would have been like, why am I even a part of the Horde anymore? Like there's all these hot women over here. So,
I like that.
Yeah, that's basically what we had. Comment from Mike Lomax, possibly the biggest what if you could do, next to maybe having Skeletor swap places with Hordak, where Hordak is the one who fails and warns King Randor of the plot to kidnap the twins, with Skeletor still kidnapping one of the twins and retreating to Etheria, where he's put in charge of Etheria by Horde Prime, with Hordak forced to live out his remaining days on Eternia. And that kind of got me thinking, too, like if somehow maybe Skeletor overthrew Hordak, and Hordak makes his way to Eternia with the tail tucked between his legs. It's like, well, all right, this happened, but here's this. Go for that. So if they swap places, that could maybe be another topic down the road of something we could discuss.
Seeing Hordak lead, but Hordak, I mean not Hordak, Skeletor wouldn't want to answer to anyone.
No.
Like, also, like the Horde Empire are so technologically skewed, and Skeletor isn't.
Yeah,
Skeletor is like primarily, the demon from another dimension.
Yeah, that would be right, because he would not be putting emphasis. I mean, even though he uses technology like the Robot Knights and the Collector and various, but he is not about pushing technology to advance his.
The only way Hordak works on Eternia, as in like Skeletor goes to Etheria, Hordak's on Eternia, is if you make Hordak like the toy Mattel, like Fright Zone on it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The dragon plays it. It has to be that version, because when you look at like for majority of the toy canon, that horde, the evil horde, like the grouping we've just been looking at the cardbacks of, they're really not about technology. They're just about
they're more primal.
Yeah, exactly. Like these vicious monsters. And you could say, well, Horde Science created them, but the Mattel canon never goes into that.
And I like that concept that even though that's what Filmation goes for, but I like the idea that Grizzlor wouldn't be created by Horde Science just by looking at him. Like, same thing with Leech, Montana. I just feel like
I think the only one that the one that you can say Horde Science really works for is probably Shadow Weaver and Scorpia.
But for Shadow Weaver, you think?
Well, yeah, because like if you were to use the Filmation, origin of her character, being a former like magician,
with
wizard,
Castaspella,
at Mysticor or wherever they were based, like the Horde Science is what transforms her into Shadow Weaver. It takes.
It's been so long since I've watched that episode. I guess I forgot about that.
She already has her magic, but the Horde Science, like, I guess, amplifies that magic and kind of, I guess, makes her evil.
Yeah.
And then with Scorpia, I just feel that she's like this.
Scorpia's like a human hybrid of her and an ant, or like obviously in her case an insect.
Yeah. And like maybe False Face as well, or Octavia even. Octavia could have been a woman that was like mutated into like this tentacle woman, because you think like I can't imagine a species.
I can see her as being more like merman, like she comes from the seas.
Yeah,
like she looks more aquatic as opposed to something that was created.
Yeah.
At least that's how I kind of look at it.
Is there any way hypothetically that this scenario could work where these characters are established? Because I know when Tyler and I were discussing this, that Tyler doesn't really buy into the idea entirely in the storytelling standpoint too, of just Horde Prime even being there. Could you find a way that these characters already exist with the Horde Science, and Skeletor like overthrows Hordak leaves, but Skeletor also finds a way to eliminate Horde Prime, and then they go from there? Could you work in anything like that to where that scenario would make sense, or no?
What you were saying, Skeletor overthrow Horde Prime?
Well, it just finds a way to eliminate all of that. Like, so all those characters can still exist in their present form with the Horde Science, but like all of that after the fact is done and over with, and then Skeletor can reign how he would like? Or is that too much of a tall order? I'm just looking at it from the way of Tyler talking about not really digging the Horde Prime thing, because it kind of how did you word it last week, Tyler?
I just feel like it dilutes Hordak's role, because you look at everything in the Fright Zone has got Hordak's face on it. Yeah. Nothing that says this is the Horde Prime's empire. This is Hordak's empire. Destructo tanks, the Batmechs, everything's got something Hordak based on him, and that's why I'm like, even as a kid, I just rolled with it, but as an adult, I'm like, I don't quite buy the idea of Hordak bending the knee to anybody.
Well, I just feel like even as a kid, that was always my problem with the Christmas special, is that, like, I know this is slightly off tangent, but like Skeletor, why is Skeletor even there? Why is Skeletor working for Horde Prime? I like the fact that he's a former associate. I don't mind that so much. But Skeletor's like, yeah, but I'm now the evil Lord of Destruction. I do my own thing on Eternia.
Why do I care about the two kids in the Christmas spirit?
Exactly.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that. That was a line of dialogue deleted, I believe. But yeah,
I think it was. I think Alan Hopkins.
James probably has the booth recording session of that where Oppenheimer actually says that. Stay tuned to Serial Geek TV. James will have it on the channel at some point.
I would, if I had my chance, I would have Modulus be the reason science is even introduced to the Horde.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Like they are strictly a primordial faction that just loot, plunder, destroy, kill, all imprison, enslave, and then a Modulus shows up and introduces the idea of technology and helps create Dialog, Multibot.
Yeah.
Helps give Colonel Blast like his outfit, and helps create the Horde troopers and just creates this thing that just makes the Horde that much more dominating on Etheria.
Again, going back to Nathan's question, I just don't think, if we were taking what Filmation had established, I don't think Skeletor would be able to overthrow Horde Prime only because the guy, has got like a galactic empire. But that's the thing, we never really see the true scope of the Horde Empire. They're said to have dominated all these planets. So you've got to think, it's not just Hordak. There's Balthazar Savage on, Fangoria 9, and there's Plundor on all these different Horde characters that have been on these different planets that are all. And at one point, Horde Prime's Skeletor's, I think he's going to, right, guys, can we, and they're like, yeah, no problem, boss. And Plundor just bites Skeletor to death. But no, I think but at the same time, I love Skeletor's determination, and we see that so many times where he is, in fairness, he does defeat Horde Prime in the Christmas special,
Yeah.
That Skeletor's ruined my engine.
Like blast.
Well, I don't know what's come over me. It's like, oh god.
Well, I hope everyone enjoyed our little what if scenario catered within this episode. But Tyler, Mike also, in addition, liked the idea that you had of how Adam would still end up with Cringer.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I could see some people saying they would put Swiftwind with He-Man and Battle Cat with Adora. I'm like, nah. You still can make it work. I mean, they're winged horses on Eternia, as we saw in Sleepers Awaken. And there's wild cats. Well, there's an episode called Wild Cat. So there's no reason to think that Cringer or his,
This is why you have me here. There's not an episode called Wild Cat. What
the fuck am I thinking of then? Wild Child? I'm thinking of Wild Child, damn it.
Yeah, it is a good thing you're here. I wouldn't have caught that.
Yeah. No, 2 weeks in a row, James has corrected me on shit. Fuck.
I'm just going to
let it never be said, though. I'm not afraid to admit mistakes where some people in the community are like, I don't know, we talking about. Nathan, edit that out, will you? I'm like, no, I stand corrected. Wild Child is what I'm talking about.
I mean, you're down to you're -2 now, so
God, I got to dig myself out of this fucking hole.
A comment that we had from Brian Clifton. This was fun. DC Comics did an Elseworld story where Darkseid intercepted Kal-El on the way to Earth and raised him as his son. It was interesting to see Superman come to terms with his inner struggles and ultimately do what was right, because it was what he was always meant to be, a force for good. And Ty you and I talked about that. It's would there ever been a point if Adam were a part of the Horde that he would have just stayed in line? But as we stated, it's kind of the whole reason they were up for being kidnapped is things were said. There's a greater thing that they're both something's gonna happen down the road. What it is, no one knew. But yeah, it was always going to prevail no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely. And just Hordak's egotistical mind, like, I can overthrow that, I can stop it, or I can use it to my advantage.
Yeah.
Skeletor would do the same.
A comment from Nathan the Barbarian. I swear this wasn't me. You'll understand why when I read the comment.
Your pseudonym on a Friday night when you go out.
Good show today, guys. And yes, Brutus was shit. I remember liking him and thinking he was cool as a kid, but when I got older and watched his old WWF run, I realized how much he needed Hogan to have a spot on the roster. And not just wrestling, but I'm sure it was the Hulkster that got him in a role in Santa with Muscles and then later as a trainer on his celebrity wrestling show. He's more of a leech than leech. Absolutely. Brutus Beefcake sucks. He sucks, and I swear that wasn't me under the Barbarian guys.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
How do you feel about Beefcake, James?
Oh, I just thought it was like shit.
Hell yeah.
Like the only thing that fascinated me about Brutus Beefcake was when he turned up in WCW as
No,
hang on.
No.
Like not initially. When he turned up in the NWO as the disciple.
No.
But no, the only reason it fascinated was like, that's not Brutus Beefcake. I didn't think it was him. I just couldn't believe it. And then it was
told me this, when he told me, I was like, really? Huh?
Yeah.
I had no idea it was him either.
Yeah, it wasn't until years later I found out. I was like, oh my God, that was Brutus Beefcake. I feel dirty now.
Yeah.
And then you go back to, I think the only good run he had was when he was with Hogan and they were the Boulder Brothers in like, not even AWA, it was like before that. Maybe it was Memphis Wrestling. Or... Yeah, they both got in like like he's trying to do like Hulk Hogan as well. The Boulder Brothers.
I'll find the picture so people.
I was gonna say, are you talking about the picture, Nathan?
No. I was gonna find what James.
I was gonna say because I think I still have that saved on my phone, and I don't know if James ever saw that.
Pretty sure he did.
Okay, maybe he did. I think we probably showed it. There it is. Here it is.
Oh, it's that one. Yeah, you said.
Nathan sent it to me or showed it to me years ago. I mean, when we were back in high school or something, I couldn't stop laughing about it. It like right, and it was like you could buy an experience to have a dinner with Brutus Beefcake, and that was the picture you got was him like
That should be, but
that would be James and Brutus Beefcake. Oh,
there we
God,
go.
Look at that.
The Boulder Brothers. Oh my God.
Yeah, Hulk Boulder and shit Boulder.
I think he was Terry Boulder, wasn't he?
Terry Boulder. Whatever. I don't know. Beefcake sucks. And then John Ballard left a comment thanking us for answering the question he had in the chat last week, and then talked about the Stingray series 1 and 2 are on Prime Video. So I was like, yeah, if it's on Prime, maybe I could pop in and check out one of those episodes just to see what it's all about because the premise seemed very weird.
Stingray.
It was a series that came on around the same time as Miami Vice back in the 80s.
Oh right.
Yeah.
In fact, it came on like right after Miami Vice, like starting in like 86, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah. And apparently the main character helps people for future favors or something. It seemed very ominous and shit. So I don't know. Who knows how good it is.
Sounds really weird. It's like, you owe me. It's like, what do I owe you?
Master's Keep here in our live chat with a comment earlier in regards to Stinkor. My mom put him outside. So
I can see parents being put out with the smell.
It never seemed that bad to me, though.
No, likewise. I think I read somewhere that they said that a bunch of Mossman and Stinkor figures, as production went on, just didn't smell of anything. Because my Mossman was like, he smells a bit piney. But when I hear people talking about him, like they're like, oh, he was so potent, and he made. And I was like, mine was just like, yeah, maybe.
We were talking about that, and maybe that's a thing too of the UK being way more. Mindful of the chemicals and shit that they're putting.
Hey, they're all about down to ninja and nunchucks, man. I could see the being a problem.
No, but regardless, we still would have had the same figures shipped and packaged, like regardless of safety issues. They wouldn't have taken those out and said, "Oh, make sure when you ship them to us." They would have just got the same batches. But because I remember, like my Mossman was one of the ones that was flocked with that very sharp pine. You know, some people had the very soft one.
Yeah.
Mine was like really sharp. I was really my Mossman. I still have like this. my first memory of owning Mossman was taking him to school and going, look, he's camouflaged and stuff. We were joking about, and this kid Wayne Mullen again. This kid I was friends at school with. He threw him over the fence,
and he was like, "Go on then."
I was like, "Go on then." I punched him. And he's like, "Go on then." No, stop. You need to go back to the Galaxy High School episode for that story.
God, yeah. Go on then.
Go on then. But he had my Mossman. He was just like throwing it, and he threw it. And where our school playing fields were, there was like houses backed onto them, and he went over this like chain link fence. I never saw Mossman again. Like to this day, he may be in the back garden of someone's house, and he's been there for 40 years.
There's probably gonna be some Reddit post one day. It's like, yeah, look what I found when I was digging in the garden. Yeah,
like, that's my Mossman.
If I see anything like that, James, I'm gonna reach out to you. And
found Mossman in Enfield. Yeah.
Did you get a replacement, or was that?
Yeah, I got it replaced like within a few weeks. Like my dad was like, "I'll get you another Mossman." Just like, okay. Yeah, I was
I had friends that were destructive with my toys too, sons of bitches.
I remember when
it's strictly like Tyler, is this much like James, like a school-based story, or is this friends coming over to your house and destroying
this was on my birthday. We just got back from seeing the live-action Ninja Turtles movie.
1990.
And I had the second version of Deep Six from G.I. Joe. I had been playing with him, and my two buddies we were taking them back home. So we left the movie and we're taking them home, and they're in the backs, and they find him and they just start goofing off with him, and they tell me they're going to break him. I'm like, guys, don't do that. And we drop them off. I go to the back seat. Deep Six is broken in half.
Mm.
And I was weird. You motherfuckers, and just.
Do you still know these people?
Well, me and Nathan went to high school with both of them.
All right, I want some names.
I was going to say, can you, surely you can just beat the fuck out of them now and be like, that's for Deep Six.
I haven't seen either one of them in decades.
Even better, the anonymity. They won't know who you are. You just beat
Come on, who is it?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Well, one of them is Justin Klein.
Oh, I was going to say.
And Jason Queen.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. I was big buddies with them. And that was around the time where they went to different schools, and I wouldn't see them again for years. And it's like, oh, we're popular now. We don't know you. That was the kind of the mindset. And I'm thinking, like, both you assholes, I took you to see Ninja Turtles, and you broke my fucking Deep Six figure. I never got replaced.
I bet they both got venereal diseases anyway, so don't worry about it. If you guys are watching, you owe him a Deep Six figure. If not,
yeah.
Stop breaking toys.
Mom, I'm telling you, I think they broke it, and we get back there, and it was just like I just had to deal with it. I just had to deal with that.
How was it broken? It was just the O-ring, right?
I think so, but at the time I didn't know.
Yeah, you're a kid. It was just like my toy.
Yeah, you broke my fucking G.I. Joe, like, and I just, oddly enough, to bring it back to He-Man, that day before we go see Turtles, I was watching the live action He-Man movie, waiting for them to come over. And my mom is videotaping like me playing outside with them. You can hear the live action movie playing in my bedroom.
That is awesome. But I'm laughing at the idea of like them coming over, going, "What toy of Tyler's should we break?"
Break one of his toys. It was never an MO with him. This just happened to be something they just thought was funny to do.
And you never, like, after when that happened, did you confront them? After, like,
no, because I think I just kind of made my peace with it, kind of, and just.
He put him in a little shoebox and buried it in the backyard.
I would also get in a fight with Jason Quinn over Dick Tracy about coloring in the coloring book. Like, I wanted to color him orange because I thought that was flesh color, not peach. So we got into this big fight over like coloring. I'm going to color Flat Top's face orange because that's how you color skin.
Wow.
It's just
Why were you guys even friends?
I don't know. He had the New Adventures of the He-Man Power Sword, and that was really cool. And he had Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
So you just liked it. You liked him because of the stuff he had.
Well, that's when I discovered the New Adventures Power Sword. Like, you have a He-Man Power Sword. Like, I gotta have that, and I got one for Christmas that year.
And then he just breaks it right in front of us. Like, no, you don't.
Just, he wasn't one of those kids that would shoot his toys with BB guns and shit like that. But just looking back at he was just an asshole waiting to grow into one.
Just the fact that your mom had videotaped earlier in the day, it's just the precursor to like utter devastation later on.
Time, and I'm
the
talking
joy.
To Michelangelo, like, oh, dude, like I'm just dumb as shit. Does
this video still exist?
I own it, yeah.
On DVD.
I think I did have some of the family videos transferred. And in one of those family videos, I'm playing with Cobra Khan that I got for Christmas 87.
Tyler, I'm gonna need to borrow those for scientific purposes.
And
don't worry about
it. Much like I've told others, you can just eat my ass.
I'm not gonna do that.
No.
I think the earliest video footage of me is when I was 18, and my friends and I are over like the playing fields, just like we start off playing football, like let's play football, like playing soccer, and then it's just like it just evolves into us all doing martial arts, and it's the one time you see me do like a perfect jump spinning crescent kick, and I've got long hair because I was growing my hair for my braids. That's on DVD, so I've got to try and get that. Yeah, this was prior to that. And it's, oh my God. And we're doing flips and we're all taking the piss out of one another. Then we're talking about this new film coming out called Independence Day. It's
man.
It's quite the time capsule.
I would love to watch that. We bring James back. We have an episode. We show that video. We show Tyler's video, and then I'll show off some of the backyard wrestling stuff that I did.
Yeah, well, that's actually a really good idea for a thing. This is probably more for my channel because it's more geeky, but it's I've got video of like when I used to put the episode review website together. So I've got video of me like you coding the HTML and
that's awesome.
Uploading the website, the 5 megabytes of the website on a Saturday, going, this takes forever. Yeah. I've got the first video I sent to my partner in crime on the website, Zadok. I sent him this video of like just my life this would have been early 96, I think. And it's just me filming my room and stuff like, these are my books. This is my book on script writing by J. Michael Straczynski. Here's one of my favorite rap videos, literally stuff like that. And I cut to the next thing. Here's this scene from Brave Star that I really like. And
then you call your friend in the room. You're like, dude, apparently all the Spice Girls are nude. And here's a picture. Click the link. Here's a photo.
My God! Yeah,
I've got a thing where my friend visits. I'm filming him. This is December of '95. He comes round. And he was obsessed with Prince, so he's downloading all these Prince images, and it's downloading like this, like a 70k JPEG.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. It's like, wow.
It's like it's like finding any of those images online. It's like Tyler talks about all the time. It's like, oh yeah, Jennifer Aniston nude. It's like this terrible Photoshop, right? But you're loading it up. It's scrolling down, and I always think of American Pie at the beginning when he's watching the scrambled TV at the beginning. That's a tit. But you're waiting. I mean, it's a good like 2.5, 3 minutes, maybe longer for that image to just process. Good times for early internet.
Go on all those news celebrity websites. Man. It's like Elizabeth Hurley naked. Oh my God.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah.
I remember like telling my buddy like, you got to print me that out. Like I know you're scared my parents might find it, but print me that. Look, you have this access all the time. I don't.
These days, it's like, I need to find this person, but clothed. Is that possible? Actually, Nathan and I were having this conversation.
Oh, yeah. I think James has a few friends that... Man, James has had some connections. We'll leave it at that. I'll do this question. We'll discuss it. I'll pop up another question. I much like Tyler will go and use the bathroom. This comes from Andrew HM. If James grows his dreadlocks back, would Tyler watch the new Masters of the Universe movie?
I don't understand the connection.
I don't care what he grows. I don't care what he has. There's no.
Come on, man. But look at that. If James grew that back, Tyler, would you go watch the new movie? Come on.
What? Because he wants to wear a fun retro hairdo. Why the fuck do I need to suffer? Like I
had to ask.
Where's the trade-off? Him wearing a hairdo that he can clearly get rid of, whereas I have to sit and watch this shit and remember that I watched it and swore that I wouldn't, and I got to see the world's scrawniest He-Man and cosplay and Jared Leto.
Don't get me wrong. I side with Tyler about my opinions about the movie. From what I've heard, we'll talk about that off air. Yeah. But I know we're gonna mock the idea, but imagine there's a chance, like the slimmest of chances, that it was actually good. I know there isn't, but imagine if there is, and we're like, my God. Yeah, I mean, but the idea that keeps baffling me is like, guys, we're making a Masters of the Universe movie as the entire superhero genre is tanking. It's like, What a great time.
Yeah, now's the best time to pop in and finally get this made, right?
I said for the longest time, a Master of the Universe movie should have happened in like 2008, 2010. We've had Ninja Turtles movies, we had G.I. Joe movies, we had Transformers movies.
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason why we shouldn't have had it because those all fucking sucked.
Yeah, but I'm saying that was the ideal time for them.
That was the ideal time.
That's when you would have been like, oh my God, why did they do that?
You would have had like a box office return. Now it's like, who's gonna? I don't understand who this movie's for.
Right. And I feel like too, it'll come and go like the Gem movie or some of the others that just came and went.
The fact that there was a Gem movie even happened is astonishing. Like one of my favorite memories of San Diego Comic-Con 2014 was I was walking around with my friend Marianne, who was dressed up as Gem. She did the Gem cosplay. It's like a great costume. Walking around and like there was the poster for the Gem movie, and she was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "That's the." She's like, "Why doesn't it look anything like?" It's like, and then there were these people walking around. They all kept going like, "Oh, Gem." And at one point, one guy goes, "Oh, did you know there's a new Gem movie coming out?" And we're like walking away from this guy because we're just kind of passing like the crowds and everything. He's like, "Oh, do you know there's a new Gem movie coming out?" I was like, "Yeah, she's in it." He was like, "Really?" I was like, "No." He laughed, but it was just like that continuous conversation.
I think I'm one of 100 people that have probably watched that Gem movie.
Wow, you've seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm trying to think if
at the cinema.
No, I didn't go to cinema. I must stress that. I want to say like this was early on when Emily and I started dating, and we would go and just go to a Redbox and find stuff, and it's like, this will probably suck. Let's go ahead and get drunk and rent this. And that was one of them. And I watched it, and I was like, I kind of get what they were wanting to try to do to make it modern day. And it had, there's one song in it that I liked, but other than that, I was like, this is pointless.
That's the way.
Yeah.
And I feel like too, it's like, a broken record, but the track record shows Hollywood doesn't care about staying true to these properties that have continued to make millions of dollars for these companies. And like, think about, well, why is it still relevant? They don't bother to think, is it the comics? Is it the cartoons? Is it the toys? Is it the mythology? I think about what they've done with G.I. Joe three times over. They could not get it fucking right. Lorenzo Bonaventura could not give a fuck if he got it right. Like, it's good to show contempt for your audience. Just ask Michael Perry.
Yeah, there was a statement recently from like some showrunner at Marvel, and I think it was with regards to one of their TV shows, and they said that the writer just completely refused to even look at the comic book, and it was just like, why would you? I don't understand that. That's a level of arrogance and entitlement. Like, oh, I don't need to look at that, and it's like you don't need to look at the thing that made it popular. Like, what's the logic? Like the beauty of those initial Marvel movies, those phases, was that they were very much going, what made this character work? Yeah. What made this character work? What made Thor work? Oh, that he's this ethereal being, this guy, and then we get, oh, he's a comedy guy, and it's like, no, that's not Thor. You've confused Thor with Hercules. Hercules is the drunk, braggart fool of a god. Thor is not, which is why when they introduced Hercules at the end of whatever it was, Love and Thunder, I was just like, well, you can't have him now. You can't. Well, you're going to play Hercules straight. The whole point of his character is he's a bit of a joke. He's awesome and he's powerful, but he's a dickhead. He's like your typical god that has all this power but no responsibility, whereas Thor learned all of that. And I just, and it's that thing of, we look at the comics, it's like, yeah, God forbid you look at those comics that were running for half a century before, we've seen them devolve into just, straight up rubbishness.
That's why I'm like, okay, at what point did Kevin Feige and his staff decide, you know what, our movies are making so much money, we don't need to look at the source material, even though we're bound by no limitations. We can pull from whatever we want, recreate any story we want. We're like, no, we're going to do our own thing. We're going to take the piss out of all the stars of these movies. Everything's going to be pushed more towards comedy. Nothing will be taken seriously. The villains will be fucking jokes.
When you think about, like, you're going to like completely agree with this 100%. Imagine if they had built up towards a proper Secret Wars movie. like proper, like two films where you do the whole battle world scenario and you build up, and it's like, here's the villains, here's the heroes, they're going to do this battle, and you tell all those beautiful, well, as many as you can within a movie or 2 movie timeline, or sorry, pacing, and you do that, and instead it's like, we know what to do, we're perfect. Didn't they do a series? Did they do a series called Secret War? No, what was the one with? What was the one with Nick Fury?
Well, they'll be doing Secret War and fucking it up in about another year or so.
There was something with Nick Fury, and what was that called? Secret Empire? No, I forget. Secret Invasion? No, I don't know. It was like a really bad.
You mean the Disney Plus series?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Secret Invasion with the Skrulls.
Secret Invasion, yeah, where everyone's a Skrull, and they always have been. It's just like, oh, I'm glad I stopped here, and I haven't seen the rest.
I don't think I gave any of the Marvel shows to watch. I was like, fuck She-Hulk, it's gonna suck balls, and obviously it did. Secret Invasion, WandaVision. I don't care about none of this stuff. You guys have already shown that you guys are I was done after Endgame. When I saw Endgame, because I thought I loved the trailer, but I was like, God, like nobody takes a fucking thing serious in this movie. Everyone's stopping to have a quick little jab or a joke about a very serious situation. You're like, fuck, man, we're talking about the end of the world here. And everyone's like, well, it's my turn to say something funny. Like, man, fuck you guys, and fuck Chris Pratt, and fuck James Gunn, and all the other guys responsible for this shit.
It is weird they chose that path of storytelling.
Movies, man, all of them.
I was wondering when we were going to get here. I knew we would get here eventually.
I hate feeling this way. God, if this shit had happened back in the 90s when I was about as Marvel nut as you could get, I'd have taken anything that had come out. I'd have been so happy to see all this stuff. But
I mean, the beauty is though, like I always say to people, especially like when it comes to He-Man and She-Ra, I always say to people, "Oh, my He-Man and She-Ra happened in the '80s," and I'm cool with that. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the New Adventures. I know it for my sins. I love the 2002 cartoon. Beyond that, yeah, kind of thing, like the classics toy line. But I'm always happy to say, oh, like my enjoyment of Master Universe was here, and I still love talking about it now. Obviously, case in point, we're on the show.
Yeah.
But and I think when I look at comics, it's like, oh my god, like I grew up in one of the best times. Like, no, it wasn't the '60s when you had all those awesome Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Don Heckle. Yeah, all those great. Like none of those. Obviously, I wasn't around for those. I got to enjoy those in the '80s when I went back and started becoming a comic collector. But got to enjoy that '80s run. Jim Shooter led Marvel. All those amazing comics. Like, was it Tom DeFalco was the editor in chief for a goodly while of a bunch of comics, and that Secret. I was going about Secret Wars. It's still like my favorite crossover of all time.
I mean, with good reason. I mean, they've never been able to capitalize or do that again.
Like I understand why Crisis of Infinite Earths gets a lot of praise because it was groundbreaking what they did with that. But I still prefer Secret Wars as a crossover because it's so good versus evil. Like, Crisis is sorting out a lot of fucking DC shit.
Yeah,
and it was a genius move to do. Like, let's try and figure all this out. But then obviously they've tried to figure out.
That's one of the biggest reasons I've always found it hard. I'm more drawn to the DC media of the Tim Burton Batman films and the animated series, and the Christopher Reeve Superman films. I have enjoyed certain DC comics, as Nathan will tell you, but I'm just like, it's all over the fucking place.
As well, think about it. They have Crisis of Infinite Earths in what 84, 85.
Yeah.
So it's like, right, we're jump starting again, and then in what 1994 they do 0 Hour, and it's like, oh, we're starting again. It's like, my god.
Hey, welcome to the spinner rack here, people.
Oh yeah. We have gone a bit comics heavy.
No, not to say that Marvel hasn't had its fair share, but I feel like I can pick up, Uncanny X-Men and not feel like, all right, okay, obviously I maybe need to read an issue 2 back, but for the most part, I can read a concise issue here or of Amazing Spider-Man or just DC just feels like you read Batman, you jump from, this story will continue 4 issues later, but for right now, we're going to have 3 other stories going on. Like, it's just, I don't know. I love DC media, early stuff, but man, it's always been about Marvel, dude. I just find the Marvel heroes and villains more captivating, even though I love Joker and Two-Face and Mr. Freeze and Scarecrow.
What's fascinating as well is when you look at Marvel's history, let's go from like the 60s to like the 90s or something for Marvel, or even like the 2010s.
And to me, that is the best.
Yeah,
I mean, it never
West,
gets any better after that.
No, of course not.
It's you know.
But when you look at that, the beautiful thing about Marvel is that was one entire continuity, and there was probably bad stories and this, that, and the other.
Oh yeah, there always were.
But they kept that continuity, and there was never like a real big dip. When you look at DC, because DC existed longer, you had that period in the 1950s, and like, don't get me wrong, it's kind of romanticized, but like, Dick Sprang's Batman with like, oh my god, we've got to fight the Joker on this giant pinwheel or something. You know what I mean? All these, and that is still the same universe in which Neil Adams' Batman happens. It's like, this doesn't make sense. So DC had this problem of like, it would jump between all these different styles. With Marvel, from the 60s up until a point, it was consistent. It was like, this is all in the same universe. This is all still in the same style. Yeah, we'll have bad stories, bad illustrations, whatever. But for the most part, and that was always what I loved about jumping on with Marvel comics in like the 80s when I started collecting comics. I was like, wow, this is issue 298 of the Hulk. That means there's all these ones that came before. The same with Thor, all these different, which would make me want to go back and read all the classics. And the mistake I just started seeing in the mid to late 90s was just when Marvel just kept doing start again number one, Avengers Volume 2 number 1, Avengers Volume 3 number, you had George Perez, I think, was the artist when they did of course it was Heroes Reborn at first.
Oh god. Oh yeah
that was the first relaunch, and it's just they killed
only with certain and only with the titles that they felt were dragging, which was Captain America, Fantastic Four, and what was it, the Avengers?
Because basically they killed a bunch of titles, like Thor got cancelled, or it became Journey into Mystery with Hercules, I think, or Journey into Mystery something or the other. But they killed all these titles. But those 4 ones were Iron Man, Avengers, Fantastic Four. What are we missing one?
And Captain America.
Oh,
Rob Liefeld drew that, and Jim Lee drew Fantastic Four, which looked. I mean,
they're the only Heroes Reborn issues I still have, the Jim Lee Fantastic Four, because they look gorgeous.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
the story's pretty shit.
I mean, I feel like I could tolerate a lot of shitty books if Jim Lee was drawing them, though. Yeah, I not to say that this is really fucking bad, but I look at Hush. It's one of the most overrated storylines of all time, but fuck, Jim Lee's artwork was amazing. And the story is like, you saw it coming a mile away. And when you think, oh, they're going that way. Oh, no. You remember what you thought before? That's what we're really doing. Well, fuck you, Jeff Loeb. You ain't a fucking genius.
It's funny, during the 90s, like, I was so kind of, I was very much like, as the comics were in the 90s, like artist driven. And I just kept wanting to see like McFarlane, Eric Larson. Yeah, that James. Well, it was a bit before then. But like Eric Larson, Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, Jim. I wanted to see all these artists draw He-Man. So I want to see that. Yeah. And then, like, obviously, I think one of the first major ones to do was J. Scott Campbell, because he did the cover for MV Creations.
Yes.
Like which was a gorgeous cover.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously Campbell, that's where he started becoming the pin-up guy, because he just started doing lots of covers, like Thundercats he did. Yep. Battle of the Planets,
and McGinnis did Thundercats, and he did that one. Remember that one issue of Wizard magazine that had like 80s comics.
He-Man and Skeletor.
He-Man and Skeletor, like the Turtles and Thundercats and G.I. Joe. Like, someone make this happen.
That was amazing. That was like, because it was. They got a bunch of artists to, like, what would 80s cartoons look like in comic book form, and it was a wonderful thing what they did, because they literally just generated all this nostalgia hype of like, oh my, because I was big into collecting Wizard and Toy Fair at the time. I was like,
I was big on buying those too.
I was like, this is going to happen. And then, of all people, Val Staples and Emiliano, who were in the community, were like, oh, we're going to be doing a comic. It was like, wait, what? So it was crazy times. But and then J. Scott Campbell did the cover. Val, he'll probably kill me for saying this if he's watching, but Val has like a rough illustration that Eric Larson did for a He-Man cover that never got used.
Oh, fuck.
I think he showed it to me sometime. I don't know where it is. Like, I'm sure he showed me on his phone or something. And I was like, oh, wow. So that was cool to see. I was like, Eric Larson, I loved Eric Larson before he went crazy with his
style. Because I loved his Spider-Man. I thought he did a fantastic job on Spider-Man.
Yeah. And
no,
then,
would you guys like to argue about Mark Bagley,
no.
Spider-Man? Real quick?
I would love to tell James why he's so fucking wrong. God, I still can't believe this day, James. Like
the artist that turned me off Amazing Spider-Man. I was like, I'm
are
done.
out of your fucking mind. The guy who made Spider-Man look like Bruce Lee, and you're like, it's this guy. This is not my kind of guy.
No, it's just like it was. I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of.
He gives the best version of Venom, polished and muscular. He gives the best version and the only version of Carnage.
Yeah. I would give. I would.
He just
I did like his brief run, or was it? Maybe he did a quite long run on the New Warriors prior to, I think, Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah. That was one of his. I think he did Visionaries. He did New Warriors. I think.
Did he do Visionaries?
He did the Visionaries comic. I don't know how many he did, but that was his first.
It was a very short-lived comic, probably because of the art. But yeah.
What's that?
Nothing. I said.
Here is a question from Febmon.
James, why are you such an asshole?
Triclops, Montana, or Optic? Which do you feel was the better scout, lookout, and eye guy combo?
I love. There's
be
three guys there. Well, and all eyes.
It's probably got to be Triclops.
I'm always gonna pick Triclops though.
Well, because Triclops has Distavision, right? So and he can see Gamma Vision. He can see around solid objects, which makes it sound. Which some writers took as, he can see around corners. It's like, no, it means he can see through things. And then Montana was more like laser beam based when you think about it. Obviously, he was a lookout in the Mattel canon, but even then, it was always like, in the Power of the Evil Horde. He-Man's coming. It's like you're on top of the fright zone. He's just over there. I can actually see him myself. Optic in the New Adventures cartoon aboard the mutants' mothership used a view screen, so it was kind of like even more pointless that he had a giant eyeball. It wasn't.
It's almost like they never were quite utilized that. Yeah, which didn't necessarily mean he can see better than else. He is just a walking eyeball. Essentially.
Yeah, because obviously he he evolved from very late designs in Master Universe, didn't he? Where he was Idic or something like that, and I think that was coming out of the tail end of Master Universe where they were going into the laser power laser light, and then it was like New Adventures
I love Optic's design though.
It's a wonderful design.
I really love him in classics. I loved him in classics where they gave him the trapjaw legs and everything. It was just like, this is perfect. It works really well.
He was one of the few New Adventure toys that I had. I didn't have many of them, but he was one of I picked up deliberately. I thought, oh my god, I have to have him. Like he was just a great looking figure.
Well, speaking of Mattel and great-looking figures, Oliver Belmont with the comment, Mattel should stop doing Master Universe crossover toy lines. I was turned off with Motu, crossed with Thundercats, crossed with Ninja Turtles, and now they're doing Transformers. Yeah. Pixel Dan put up a video pretty much just saying essentially the same thing. And if you got someone like Pixel Dan, if you got Pixel Dan saying like, why the crossovers? If you got someone like that, then you're kind of overdoing it.
The problem I have with the crossovers is, like we're talking about the toys. The problem with the crossovers is I understand why they're done. One, I understand why they're done in the first place because it's like as a kid we all wanted to see like, oh my god, Thundercats and He-Man. Secondly, from a business point of view, you're going to sell to people that like buying toys. I get that as well. But the biggest problem I have with it, it's not even the first two, the biggest problem I have with it is that the designs don't make sense. There's no real logic to it. Like, it's like, I'm just going to put this figure and that figure. There we go. There's a figure. And it's like,
that's it. That's the thing.
It's like some asshole in Mattel, like his son, like, hey, Tucker, what would you like Daddy to put together? I want you to take these figures and just do this slick shit with them and just... Okay, Tucker. Well, we'll make that happen in the next 4 or 5 ways of action figures.
I don't mean to sound like horrible to the person that designs them.
Tyler. Oh, you can. I'm going to.
But I just feel that there's very little thoughts put into them creatively.
There's no effort at all.
It's just lazy. Like, why not just have a Lion-O and a Panthro and a Mumra scaled the same size as He-Man figures with your current articulation? Why the fuck does He-Man or Lion have to dress up like a He-Man character or He-Man have to dress up like a Thundercat? Why? Where's the logic in that?
Yeah, and there's the Transformers one I saw. I was just like,
oh, that's
what?
so
Like,
fucking stupid.
But I mean, like, I'm guessing that they will. So, what was your take on? Do you remember when they did the crossover with WWE?
Oh
no.
No, I just it was just like some of those, like none of them made sense.
I'm sorry, but at what point? Why do you need any of these flagship toys to be crossed over with this spliced design? Like, isn't it enough that you're with the or at least I'll say this in positive light for Origins. You're recreating all the original characters with articulation and characters that were never made to the real. Why do you feel like that's not enough? Like, what is it that you feel like, our He-Man lines, it's lagging. We need more. So you're doing the adult collector line that sucks. You're doing the basic line, it sucks too. So let's bring in a third line and do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I unless it's just a thing of the companies deciding, like, I mean,
it makes you feel like Mattel's running out of ideas because
they are
to Hasbro, Mattel, and Playmates. Hey, can we license your line and splice them with our unoriginal, uninspired He-Man toy line that we're charging an arm and a leg for playsets?
I guarantee when the movie comes out next year, they'll relaunch the toy line again.
God,
with like more shitty head sculpts.
In what way is it? Is it going to be vintage style? Or you think they're just going to rehash the origin stuff?
This is my take. I think they'll do two lines. I think they'll do they'll do one that references the movie characters, and then I think they'll just do another version of the toys again, as in the vintage ones again. I'm not saying like the vintage figures. I'm saying, vintage, classics, origins, and then we'll have another one where it's like, here's our next chance to what's the next gimmick? Well, let's just keep doing these figures. Like, here's the 18th figure of Man at Arms.
I've said this plenty of times. Do 3 3/4 size. That way they can be cheaper, smaller, more room for display. Do that, because they haven't done that before. Aside from Super 7 Reaction, I don't really count those.
Yeah,
I'm saying O-ring style G.I. Joe 3 3/4 Master Universe line. Do that, because at least that would be different, and you could. But they won't.
Hey, you got to give Hasbro credit, because you know what, they went that way with the Star Wars line, doing 6-inch Star Wars figures like that has done very well for them. Why can't Mattel decide, let's just change it up and do something different here? But no, it's just like I said before, they saw all the success that Classic has done. Like, no, Super 7, stop what you're doing. We're gonna take over here and start all over again with some.
I mean, that story is astonishing. What happened there? I still can't believe it.
Yeah.
How Super 7 lost the license. It was just like, Jesus Christ.
Did they lose it? Or because
I'll tell you. That's what I'll tell you off air. It's just like, it was astonishing. But yeah, it's really weird how and I've seen people, and this is why I just don't do social media groups anymore, where I don't want to get into the whole thing, because this will be a real negative spiral, but where people are like, oh, classics is just lame, and it's like, I mean, that's where
says that?
No, but that's the point. Is that's when someone is just.
You already got him riled up. You're like, who said that?
No, but that's my point. Is like, I think those people are just the only reason they're saying that is, I mean, it's a lie, because the sculpting of the classics of the Four Horsemen is far superior to Origins and far superior to the original line. Of course they are. They're very different.
Yeah.
But I think someone saying Origins is the best looking line is because they're having to justify their spending of it, which is costing them a fortune. Let's remember, like, to collect Origins, it's not the most expensive toy line.
No.
There's a lot of figures coming out, and there still are. And they're, so long as they can keep putting parts on other parts and calling it another Horde member or another Snake Man.
And spend $300 on that new Snake Lair playset.
Oh God! And
horrible price point for that. I mentioned that when I did the Comic-Con reveal stream. I didn't know the price of it, and then when they launched the Mattel Creation HasLab-esque kind kind of structure to it, and I saw $300 for that. I was like, no,
that's just not fair. That's just not fair. That's just not fair. Like, if fans want that, like,
good on them.
Good for them. But like, to pay that's just like, not for that. Like, If you're paying 300, if you're paying 300 to get a mint in box original Castle Grayskull, I know it would be more expensive.
Yeah, of course.
But if they were to reproduce a vintage Castle Grayskull in the original box, I think people would pay 300 for that. I will say this, like I told Nathan, like I wasn't really interested in the whole San Diego Comic-Con reveal stuff because it's just
it sucked.
It just sometimes annoys me. But the stuff I always like seeing is the NECA stuff. Mm-hmm. So the one thing that I was just like, I've waited nearly 40 years for this figure, right? So let's go back a little bit. So Ninja Turtles comes out in the UK a few years after America. We get it in 1990. And I was like, oh, right. So I'd heard of the comic. I'd seen it on shelves, but I was like, there's a cartoon. This looks cool. You know, that 1990 in the UK was the year of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Everyone loved it. It couldn't go wrong. It was in every computer magazine. Every bloody advert had it. You know, there was. Did you guys in America get the Nintendo 8-bit promotion with Ninja Turtles, like where they did this whole packaging thing?
I think the pack-in was over there for you guys. I don't.
Because obviously at the time, like the Nintendo 8-bit wasn't big in the UK until about 1990. It was only a year or two. Yeah, it was only when I went to Canada in '89. My friends over there were playing Nintendo 8-bit, like Super Mario 2 had just come out. And I was like, we just don't have this system over here because we were all about computers and like Master System was just about around. But so like 1990 was the big year for Ninja Turtles. I'll just wait for Nathan to get his...
I'm going to take my AirPods out because they're about ready to die.
Okay, man.
Can you guys...
Go on, talk. Oh, you've gone very quiet. He's working some magic.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Oh, are we not going to see? Oh, there we go.
We're back. I'm just letting these charge right now because they're about dead.
So like 1990, like Ninja Turtles comes out, huge success, and I remember just like I was going in comic shops. I started buying the Archie Adventure comic, right? Right from the, because obviously they did the mini series. I think it was 3 issues, and then they started with 1. And then this year it was adapting the first few cartoon episodes.
The actual episodes.
They did Return of the Shredder, and then they did the Incredible Shrinking Turtles Part 1, which was really odd because then it just ended like Shredder still had the Eye of Zarnoth, and it's like, oh, okay, we're just ending that story. Then they went into their own thing. And one of my favorite issues was the wrestling one, where the Ninja Turtles had the wrestling gear. And the villains or the heel wrestlers were Crying Hound and Ace Duck, right? And I was like, oh, I love these characters. But I loved Ace Duck. He was like this muscle-bound guy in these little tiny red trunks, and he was like this arrogant wrestler. He was like almost like Lex Luger, the narcissist character, where it's like, I'm too good to wrestle. I'm going to look in the mirror to sully my hands on you, is that kind of thing. So I'm looking at this Ninja Turtle comic thinking, that's great. And then I look in the back pages of the listings and it says Ace, like toys available, like you can order, mail order. I'm in England and all I saw was Ace Duck. And I was like, oh my God, there's an Ace Duck toy. So my dad phones his friend in Canada and says, oh, my son's Ninja Turtles has just come out. Can you send over the Ace Duck figure? My dad's friend was like, yeah, sure. So I always remember it was like July of 1990. I've been telling my friends, like, I'm getting the Ace Duck figure. They're like, what? Ace Duck?
Did you phone the one friend that you would get excited about? It's like, this is going on. Okay.
I stopped talking to him after he threw Mossman over the fence.
Okay, all right. So we're past that point.
We're past Wayne Muller, bless him.
Okay.
So I told my friend, like, I went to school and I told my friends, like, oh yeah, Ace Duck. They're like, oh, you got to bring me into school. I remember coming home. I still remember the day. It was the first day of the 1990 FIFA World Cup, because I remember like, oh wow, and I've got this package to open. I ripped open this package and I was like, oh, I think they've sent the wrong figure. It says it's Ace Duck. So I'm expecting this big, glamorous, muscle-bound wrestler, this guy, and instead I get this duck in a bomber jacket, and I was like, what the fuck? So I was like gutted. And I always wanted the wrestler Ace Duck. And then, amazingly, NECA have done the toy. And I was just like, call me an old-fashioned pervert, but I want my giant duck in tiny pants on my shelf.
See, mine was the opposite because I was introduced to the toy, I think Christmas of 1989, and I see him in a little storybook that I got at a book fair, and seeing Ace Duck, and I'm thinking like that. Well, and I just went with it. Like, okay, that's not the Ace Duck I know, but hey, it's Ace Duck. I'll just go along with it there. So.
I was just like, it was cool to have another figure. Like I also got he sent over Baxter Stockman as well. The Fly, and I took that into school, and it was like about a year before he came out in the UK. So it was like, oh, that's so cool. There's a Baxter Stockman Fly toy. And I was like, yeah, look at that. So yeah, that was also cool. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Yeah.
So ironically, I got that with when we got Nintendo. I think it was 1990. I think we got that. Santa Claus brought Nintendo with Ninja Turtles and Bad Dudes were the two games that we got. And,
when I got my Nintendo Christmas '89, it was Ninja Turtles, Dick Tracy, and Batman. Those were the three games that I got. With my Nintendo. My dad had to figure out Dick Tracy because I know a lot I couldn't
figure out the damn controls for driving the car.
Yeah, you press select to get Dick Tracy out of the car. It was as simple as that. Yeah, but my dad would sit there. We would go through the levels and we would interrogate one of them, and then my dad would write down the location, and then we would go. It was a great bonding experience between father and son, learning how to play Dick Tracy on NES.
That's awesome.
We will wrap it up with one final question. Kind of ties it back into what we discussed last week, Tyler. I can't get away from it, but Oliver Belmont in this he said my name in it, but we'll all take a stab at this. Nathan, which was the best wrestling career of Hulk Hogan? Hogan being a long-term babyface in WWE, or turning heel and forming the NWO and WCW. So which one? I mean, that's kind of tough, really, when you think about it. Which was the best?
80s to early 90s Hogan. That will always be my golden era of him.
My favorite, I really liked NWO Hogan because I remember like the first time I saw it, I was like, he's a bad guy now. It was just like really, I wasn't watching WCW when Bash at the Beach happened, but I remember like seeing it in, I think it was Toy Fair magazine. They were showing like new action figures, I think by Jakks Pacific, and they showed Hogan there was these sketches of Hogan in the NWO costume. I was like, that's awesome.
It would have been San Francisco Toy Makers. They were the ones that were putting out the WCW stuff. Jakks Pacific was WWF.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, this would have been 98. Yeah. And I remember like, so I was watching WCW and I was like, what? Hogan's a bad guy now. And so I started watching WCW at that point and really enjoying his heel run. But in terms of like, I don't think you can deny that the best was what made him like a pop culture icon, really.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the biggest thing because in both regards, if you didn't have Hogan there as the baby face, then wrestling as a whole wouldn't have reached the heights that it did to gradually drag itself to a point to where Hogan can reinvent himself, turn heel, and then we get another upswing. So
that's a very good
him
point.
Turning heel makes WWF really rethink things. When you have the golden boy becomes a heel, like the bad guys are cool.
Or is it like
but it's kind of saying which one is better. They're both impactful. Of course, the babyface run is what gets everything there. But which of the two was better? We got to take all the other stuff outside of it and just go. Was Hogan better here in the long babyface run he had, or working heel doing NWO? Which only when you think about it,
it wasn't that long though. It
lasted 3 years.
Yeah.
No, actually, not even because it was summer '96 to spring '99. So he goes out in '99 spring Stampede, and then he comes back, and then that's when he's red and yellow again. So it wasn't even 3 years. So I guess by proxy, you would have to say it would be babyface, but I think he was better as a heel, honestly.
I think most wrestlers that are born heel are great heels. You know, it's just like because it's so much more fun to play a bad guy. But I think in terms of it's difficult. I preferred him in NWO, but I think that was because I was so used to him as. Actually, do you know the best? When he was fucking Thunderlips. I'm going to break him in half like this.
The ultimate meatball.
The ultimate meatball.
At the same time too, James, his promos NWO wise were like way too long and just said a bunch of shit with saying nothing and just took up too much TV time.
Yeah.
So maybe fuck that. I guess I'll go babyface run.
When you think of his promos when he was a babyface, like in peak career WWF, when he was just like, "I'll do you something, brother." Like again, it was all a bit nonsense, but there was something there that you could go, okay, I think I know what he's talking about. NWO, like I think Hall and Nash famously said that they were trying to stop him from doing that. Be like, look, you're a baddie now. Don't do I'll tell you something, brother. So they kind of had to really rein him in. They said that, I think the story is that's famously why they started doing the vignettes and chopping them up because he kept going into, and they were like, no, we're not gonna play it like that, you know.
Obviously, the babyface run that he had is something I don't think, and I mean, it doesn't even come close. That is a thing that you can't ever do again because. You can't have super white meat babyface. I mean, Cody Rhodes kind of does it and gets away with it now, but I mean, the crowd's going to turn on him eventually. Hogan had a good stretch where people are still like, yeah, this is like he went almost a decade like that, and people weren't really tired.
I think as well, it was of its time. I know it sounds really obvious of its time, but you look at the 80s action heroes, Arnie, Stallone, like all these guys, just these big. Bronze, muscular guys. Hogan fit right into that. So his transition from wrestler to pop culture was so much like Cody Rhodes is never going to do that because it's not the kind of it's a different
wrestling
world.
The impact that it did back then, and it never.
But
will.
James, Cody Rhodes is going to be Guile in the new Street Fighter movie. Come on,
he's not. Is that a joke?
Yep.
No, him. Roman Reigns is going to be Akuma.
This sounds like some bad.
No, it's legit.
Yep.
But the only reason they're choosing him for Guile is because he's got blonde hair.
He's got a tattoo. It's on his bicep. It's on his neck. It's all right. They'll get rid of that.
Yeah, they
or maybe they'll keep it.
Most of the movie already, and I think is it 3 or 4 wrestlers that are in the movie?
What the hell? I did not know about this.
Honda, he's a wrestler too, isn't he?
I have to look.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be all up for a new Street Fighter movie. I mean, it's never going to be as good as
the G.I. Joe Street Fighter movie we got. Yeah,
that's a classic.
Oh yeah,
Deion Sanders and MC Hammer with the sound.
Yeah, Hiroki.
Yeah. I love that. I love that song.
To my feet.
Straight to. I have that to listen to when I work out.
I remember it on the news. I remember it's on the box. Oh, it's up straight to my feet.
And the music video is awesome too.
Oh, the music video was good because they filmed it in Bison's lair, didn't they?
Yeah.
Hey, the kid that was gonna play Adam in a previous version of the Master Universe movie.
Yeah, he's playing fucking Ken.
Yeah, he's gonna play Ken
to play a blonde guy, aren't they?
Are you joking?
Nope.
No.
This is so like the guy.
He's
playing Ken, who looks like He-Man anyway. Oh
here, we'll show. I'll show this off and we'll wrap it up. Here you go, James.
What is this? Oh, what is this? The cast list?
Yeah, this is the cast list. So
who's this first guy?
I actually do not know what he's from. Apologies. No. But he's playing. Here's Hiroki Goto playing E Honda, which that yeah, all right. Okay. Checks out. I want to. I thought maybe this guy was in like the first Raid movie, but he's playing Ryu. Yeah, there's Noah Centineo.
Yeah, look at this putz.
I have no idea who this is. She's going to be playing Chun-Li.
It's not Ming Na Wen though.
He's a great actor. He could
loads of stuff.
Yeah, so he could probably pull off Bison. I think
physically no, but like personality wise, yes.
Well, I mean, James can't because Raul Julia. You wouldn't necessarily think of him as Bison.
But you know what? Like, son of a bitch though. Like Raul, I mean, like, that's gonna be hard to do what Raul Julia did, where he's tall. Like Raul is tall.
Yeah,
but
I think if anyone can kind of match that energy,
I think.
But then I always feel like it's the point of doing this though. It's like, okay, that was a movie of its time. It got a lot of things wrong, but we still loved it for what it was and what it did get right. Like, I would feel like a Street Fighter movie today, you want to get things as right and close to the best as you possibly can.
Right.
I feel like they will. I feel like they're going to go quite video game accurate in terms of presentation. Look at that.
Yeah, we weren't lying to you. Jason Momoa as Blanca.
What?
Yeah.
This is so strange.
50 Cent is Balrog. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
That's an interesting choice.
Orville Peck as Vega. And I'm like, all right, well, he's kind of got the gimmick down already.
Yeah.
And then a comedian as Dan, which I guess Dan is treated not seriously anyway, and he's a shit character, so they're just going to cast a comedian in it, I guess was their angle. Yeah, there's Roman Reigns as Akuma. There you go.
Doing a street. It's just called Street Fighter, is it?
Yeah.
I guess.
Wow.
More than likely, but it starts filming soon, actually, because it was reported that Cody Rhodes is going to miss some TV because of it, and I'm like, all right.
So, like, just quickly, Street Fighter brand, huge, worldwide. That I can see as a movie. People going like, fucking Street Fighter. Masters of the Universe, I'm sorry, it doesn't even come close to the level.
No, because He-Man's not relevant anymore. It hasn't been for a long time.
Absolutely,
because certain companies and things have ensured that with their own creative choices.
Yep.
Yeah.
All over the place.
I mean, the property itself, and we've mentioned this plenty of times. It's so niche that people didn't even realize classics existed.
No.
Or NYP.
NYP people. Whenever I talk about a relaunch, they're like, "Oh, they made He-Man again." I'm like, "Yeah, in 2002." They're like, 20 plus years ago. It's like, yeah.
I mean, even New Adventures, people are like, I don't even know.
Yeah. It just shows you like Mattel dropped the ball on a lot of their marketing for a variety of reasons. Moving the cartoon around, which didn't do them any favors. Like I don't know what it was. It just that the lightning, they caught lightning in a bottle for its run in the 80s. And you know what? I don't, as much as I hold on to think that could be done again, because I believe in this brand so much.
Yeah.
They continue to put people in charge who clearly don't give a fuck and don't care why it works so well, why it should work so well.
I think lightning in the bottle is such an accurate description of Masters of the Universe, because when you think about everything involved, animation studio flourishing at that moment in time, all these creatives, Bruce Timm, all these great writers and artists all coming together, Mattel, all these creative artists, guys with great ideas and gimmicks, and a toy company about to peak kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it all comes together, and they do it, and they're like, oh, let's try and repeat it again. Filmation now, they crash out. The animation industry dies for them. Mattel, like, well, let's just do Master Universe again, but in space. And then 10 years after that, let's relaunch. It's crazy when you think, like, it was only 10 years between New Adventures and 2002, kind of thing.
But it's also crazy to think that they are the ones that sort of kickstarted the whole thing to set the benchmark of look how high we can go, and other companies start to do their own things to replicate that success, become successful, and then just over time just completely pass them by.
Well, one of the biggest ironies is Filmation. Filmation were like, let's outsource to this, for one series with Zorro, let's outsource to this Japanese animation company, Tokyo Movie Shinsha. They do such a good job that all the other American studios are like, should we send our work to overseas because it's much cheaper? So you got all these companies sending their work overseas, and Filmation like, we only did it for one series, and then eventually the Filmation are the only company in town keeping their animation in the USA, and because of that, they spend. I mean, what they were paying for a single episode, like $250,000 for one episode, is like nuts.
But that is why we are here, and that is why we exist on this plane, is to sit here and celebrate and tell you all why it's so great, what makes it great. James, once again, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, bud.
I hope everyone enjoyed this tier list, our spinner rack conversation, our other what if conversation, our wrestling talk. Leave a comment down below. Give us your thoughts on how you would have ranked all those card backs, and if you thought Hogan was better as the babyface or a heel. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Like the video. And until later, let the power return.
If you send that money in, you better remember one thing. What? A good supply of body bags.
Oh, what is that from? No.
It's got to be.
Don't push, or I'll give you a war you won't believe.
It's got to be. Got to be one of the Rambos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rambo 18.
What?
Rambo 18, Eighth Blood.
Eighth Blood.
No, it's
God.
Part of me wants to say First Blood.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
First Blood.
I was almost thinking part 2, but just the first quote that you had, I'm like,
I thought it was Mrs. Doubtfire.
Or what about It Takes Two with the Olsen twins and Steve Guttenberg?
Yeah, Steve Guttenberg.
You can't forget about that one. James is like, what the hell are you talking about?
What is that? What are the Olsen twins?
I know the Olsen twins, unfortunately.
Which I didn't.
What, personally?
Just like what? Every time you see a picture of them now, they're just like posing like this with the lips puckered out. Like, what the fuck?
When was the last time the Olsen twins were actually photographed together?
I don't know. I just feel like every photograph I saw when they were older, they're just like doing this, like kind of like.
Oh, we've all been there, Tyler.
I'm thinking, like, what have you done? Why are people giving a shit about taking pictures of you? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the face. That's the face of the man that would have bagged all the rebel women on Etheria. Right.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Come and listen to me play my bard. No, wait a minute. I am a bard. Watch. Yeah. Bye.
What? Yeah. Watch. Bye.
Going up against Charlie, slugging it out with him, while pussies like you were back here partying, putting headbands on, doing drugs, listening to the goddamn Beatle albums.